hope. They're still not showing up.
If you go into Studio and because I usually keep Studio in the background because it shows you whether or not you got everything hooked up and stuff. At least on YouTube. I don't know about the rest of the platforms.
Yeah, I mean it's like, I mean we may be streaming now. But it's not showing up on the thing.
Hold on, let me go into and let's see here. Fahrenheit Times.
Should be there's a test trailer there from yesterday or from day before yesterday.
Oh no, we're live.
We are live? It don't say 1 day ago? See, that's the only one I see, 1 day ago.
No, that's we are live on at least on YouTube. From my side I can see it.
Alright, hold on. Anybody in there?
I didn't look. Yeah, let me try it again. Yeah, let me see here. Live.
No, I think that's.
Oh yeah, you got some people in here. You got Bam. You got Lockhart Perspective.
Well, tell them I'm still having bugs. I can't see them. I don't know. Okay, wait a minute. I see it.
They can hear you, man.
All right, I see it. It's not showing up under the live tab for some freaking reason. All right, I see it. It's not showing up under the live tab for some freaking reason. All right, guys. All right. Anyway, Jason, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Friar Tuck. I've been chronically homeless for about 25 years, traveling the United States, been border to border, coast to coast. I've owned a business. I've done all kinds of weird stuff in my life. Right now, I'm walking to Philadelphia to join up with a group to do a walk for the World Cup. We're in Indiana right now, just walking our way to Philadelphia.
All right. I wanted to bring him on. Me and him got into a good conversation last night, and I've known him for a while. We have similar interests and stuff like that, and I think you guys might actually enjoy him. So, to start off with, over the course of the prep for this, someone asked me an interesting question, and I'm going to ask you and see what you say. Would you eat an alien?
Would I meet an alien?
No, would you eat an alien?
Only if it's non-humanoid.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, well, maybe it might be humanoid, might not be humanoid. But I mean, this was a legitimate question that was asked to me, and I'm like, I was like kind of like pondering it and wondering, at first I wondered why they asked me this, and then I started thinking about it, and I made a little short. I was like, would you eat an alien? I mean, it got like 700 views, and there's like a little funny tag there. It said, in Texas they would barbecue it, but I mean, really though, and the other reason I'm bringing this up is because Elon Musk actually said this, and I don't know if it's kind of like positioned over to more of the mainstream internet, but it's there. And like I said, that's one of the reasons why the alien barbecue thing is in the tagline. But yeah. I mean, it's a question. I mean, if they come, they raise havoc and everything else is dead, and the only thing is, humans and aliens. Would you eat an alien?
Well,
I know.
under those conditions, anybody would, because you have such a survival instinct. The fact that it would turn your stomach, even if you were committing cannibalism on another humanoid.
But would it be cannibalism though? Think about. We look at cannibalism as the same species, and we look at the same species as species that are being here. When there's cannibals, there's people who eat other humans, and like that might be in a rainforest or whatever, and they, you know, might eat another person. That would be cannibalism, or like the what was it the group that died in the ice and they ate each other. Dahmers, whatever it was called. But anyway,
Yeah, I know
yeah.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Situations like that I can understand. Stuff like that happened in Russia. There's been a few cases in Alaska. Um, there's been numerous cases where people have crashed on islands and things. I even wrote a story about it. King wrote a story about it. There's numerous things like that, and it's a crazy topic to explore, but
Even on the AT, there's stories of cannibalism. You've heard about the people that come up missing. Have you actually looked into the backstory of that? I think you were the one that brought it up to me.
which one now?
Okay, so there's a group of people along the Appalachian Trail that always say be careful because people like women and children are coming up missing, and lots of people are coming up missing, and they have been for years. And so going and looking into the backstory, during the Great Depression, there was a group of doomsdayers that went into the woods when everything crashed and started to build a society, but I guess they didn't know everything that they were doing. And so, in order to survive, they started, anybody that would come by, they would do hunting parties and they would start committing cannibalism. Post World War II, I think they either sent in the Rangers or the 82nd Airborne, and they go in there, and I think all but one guy made it back, and they refused to talk about the story and what they saw and everything else like that. But the overall legend or lore is that some people, some doomsdayers went into the woods and turned into cannibals, and they're still living today because apparently people are still coming up missing, and the Rangers they would never talk about it, but they said that the issue's resolved. So they could have come toe to toe with the guys and made a deal of like, hey, we're being sent up here to make sure that you don't do this for safety, keep a low profile.
Yeah,
And so
that's the whole like. I'm like, I don't know, 10 minutes from the Appalachian Trail, part of it, the Grayson part, and this is like what you're talking about. I think I did bring it up, but are part of it. But that this is they believe that there's a bunch of wild folk up in there.
yeah,
Do you remember the movies Wrong Turn?
didn't see that one.
Okay, Wrong Turn. There's a whole bunch of them. They really exploited it. But anyway, it's sort of based on that. And it's basically these inbred people that live out in the woods, and they grab people and either eat them or breed with them. And there's some horrific stuff that's going on up through there. Yeah, women are some of the first to go. Like I said, if anyone's up on the Appalachian Trail, yeah, anybody in chat, anybody listening to this later, if you decide to go on the Appalachian Trail, Jason's been on the Appalachian Trail. I've been on the Appalachian Trail. Please bring somebody with you. Okay? Make sure people know where you are at all times. Make sure you got a way to communicate. Make sure that somebody knows how, that reaches you, that calls you and talks to you every day. And if you're a woman, I'm not saying that, you can't do it. A lot of women go up there and do it. There's a lady from NASA and another lady that was crippled most of her life, and she did the whole Appalachian Trail. But just be careful. Be careful out there, especially now in this day and age. Be careful out there. Because, man, there's a lot of weird shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I only did the Shenandoahs in the on the AT before I ended up hopping a bus down to Florida, and Yeah, I don't know. The AT, it's pretty, but it's hard to keep communication. I mean, I couldn't even do live streams on my channel half the time. Maybe once every third day when I got close to a resupply spot. Like it's kind of hard to keep signal out there and stuff like that. But yeah, it's important. Like even people on my channel that I'm very close with because of the type of traveling I do, I always tell them like, if you haven't heard from me in 3 days, 3 or 4 days. First check the jails, then check the morgue, and if you haven't found anyone, then call the police. And so like I've got you got to have people that keep tabs on you, especially when you're traveling, because I can tell you, at least once a year, I run into a predator. I was in Chattanooga. I had one guy. He kept trying to put his finger up my butt. I had a guy in Shreveport that wanted to strip down naked and frolic through the forest as he's running his hands through my hair. I mean, you run across some people that will try and pull you off to the side, and they think you're in a point when you're vulnerable, and it's like, dude, it takes a lot more than weed for me to take my clothes off. You know what I mean? But some people will do that stuff to you. You got to be very, very careful when you're traveling. And people, you've got to have, whenever you're meeting with people, you should always have a back out plan. So it's like, and I do this with everybody I meet, even when I meet my subscribers. Is I come up, I meet them, but I'm also thinking of what is my exit strategy at all times, because people are really good at getting you, especially when you're dealing with predators. They're really good at getting you to drop your walls, because that's what makes them successful predators. And from that point, you at every point you're vulnerable. And so even being a man, people think that women are the ones that are at risk. No, stuff happens to men out there too. It happens just as much to men as it does to women. Just it's society kind of looks at guys and tells us to shut up, but tells the girls and coddles them and everything else like that. That's why you don't hear about it as much with men, but it does happen quite frequently with men, just like women. So it doesn't matter. You can think, oh, I'm a man, I'm safe. No, you're not. No, you are not.
Does anybody in the chat remember, or maybe you remember, some time ago? I mean, it's been years, but I posted a photo, and I did a video. I don't know if it's still up or not, but it shows all of the locations of all the missing people, and all of these locations are around trails and caves.
Yeah, that would make sense, because that's when a person's most vulnerable. I mean, look at Central Park, and there are certain blind spots where women are have all kinds of stuff happen to them. I mean, it makes the news every so often, and national news at least.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a blind
speak,
spot.
speaking of things happening to people, and you're talking about homeless people. By the way, if anybody's wondering what's playing in the background, that's the Artemis landing. We'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, in your chat, I posted something, and I don't know if you saw it or not.
Um, what did you post? I only saw like one thing that you said.
Oh, this was the very last thing, and I was wondering if you'd say something about it. But apparently, nursing homes nursing homes are dumping elderly people, or basically kicking elderly people out of nursing homes and dropping them off at homeless shelters.
That's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, now I mean this was like I said, we know it's been going on, but we didn't know officially it had been going on. Now we know officially it's been going on. There was a legal release, and apparently it's okay for them to do that.
I can actually tell you, because I've met a person that happened to. So you've probably heard me tell the stories about how I took over the two houses using adverse possession. Well, my first tenant, because I rented out the rooms. My first tenant, he had been in a nursing home for like 10 or 15 years. He had Parkinson's really bad. His lungs were burned from inhaling bleach and some other issues. Like he had some severe health issues, but when Obamacare passed, and they started putting it into effect, because his Parkinson's was getting better, because they were managing it with environment and medication, he no longer fit the criteria to be in the nursing home, and they had to force him out. He ends up going to a shelter, staying in a shelter for probably about 3 weeks to a month, and yeah, and then him and I end up getting connected. He ends up becoming my first tenant. But this is mostly bureaucratic that's happening, that's causing this. I really wouldn't say that this is something that's like a nefarious conspiracy, or that this is something, off the wall. But yeah, if you're doing good care and if you take good care of your patients and they get better, instead of continuing to manage their care and give them a better quality of life, they just kick them to the curb.
But I mean, most people that are in nursing homes. I mean, I can go to any nursing home now, and most people that I run into in nursing homes, these people have, either early or late stages dementia or Alzheimer's. And I mean, the streets is definitely not a place for them. I mean, and my understanding is they're dumping everybody out there. Like
Mm.
like here in my city, um, we we used to have like 3 nursing homes. Okay, one got shut down. I have no idea what happened to all the people. It got turned into like a physical therapy thing, and
Mm.
then there's another one that nobody hears much about. But I mean, that's the thing. Like locally here in Virginia and other places that I know of, it's like nursing homes are starting to disappear. But what's actually happening to the elderly people? Now there are some cases like here where they do like this home care thing,
Home
and
health care, yeah.
well, it's not just home. It's called something else, and it's riddled with fraud. Because
Mm.
I mean, for example, there's a lady that lives up from us, and she used to take care of 4 people, and for each person, she would get like $6,000 each.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money to take care of somebody for a month. I mean, in
When you
my
look at
opinion,
medical,
no,
go ahead.
no, no. All you do, no, you don't provide the medical care. The only thing you do is provide a home, and you're there to, you know, if in case there is an emergency, you drive them to the hospital. That is basically the extent of that. They have a nurse that comes in. They have all. I mean, they pay you $6,000 to let somebody live in your home,
Okay, but
basically.
who made the law that put the government on the dole, or that put the government on the hook to pay that $6,000? Because you got to realize, like, the people, and this is even the problem I have with the way our whole system's designed. It's designed like this on purpose because of the attrition, and how all of that makes it back into a politician's pocket. And so they go and they pass a bill and say we need to just spend this much money, not realizing the intended and unintended consequences of it. And then therefore it by design it encourages and rewards the fraud. So to sit there and complain about the fraud, well, we gotta it's the laws that are allowing it to happen to begin with.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I agree 100%. But if we're starting to see the cracks and they're this big, and we're starting to see like fraud in daycares and things like that, the whole Minnesota thing, and California and Virginia and New York and all this stuff that's rampant. And we see the cracks. Now we can kind of fix those cracks, and we can go ahead and take care of the issues that's causing those. But it doesn't seem anybody wants to. They just want to go after the fraudsters, which is fine with me. But the fraud is still there.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, um, it's like, are you part of the in crowd? Was it what is it the Russians used to say? Show me the man, and I'll show you the crime. So when you have people of opposing views or opposing this, because everybody's playing musical chairs, in the big fraud game, you got to really ask, who did they piss off, and who did they vote for that actually put them in that situation? Because it seems like it's a very good old boys club. Unless somebody just stands up and says, "Oh, this is bad," and then the system says, "Oh, okay, we'll correct the fraud for this moment, but then we'll go right back to doing the same thing." Happens in the justice system all the time.
Right. I mean, it just seems like there's just seems like they just don't want to do anything about it. And I mean, it's disturbing. And I mean, we can see the issues. But I mean, when it comes to the elderly people, I mean, you being out there, I mean, how many elderly do you see?
Oh, oh shit, I hope I didn't just fucking ruin my, oh, shit. Ah, damn it. Okay, so that's actually a really good question, and I'm glad you asked that because here's the overall skinny on that. Okay, in what 2003, 2004, I was in San Francisco, and I thought it was really baffling that I had kids like 2, 3 years, 4 years younger than me, just turning 18, all this stuff, right? And and so you're like, okay, so all these young kids are coming out. You find it's because of the whole Ritalin epidemic that was going on. Well, now, because of the way that housing is, you don't see anybody under the age of 40 unless, they've got some really severe issues. And most of these people that are under 40 that are out here should probably be on disability. But you see, no, I have not seen most. I'm the young one. Like when I went up to the day center, I was at the bottom 5 in age, and I'm 45 years old. You got to realize, like, most of what you're starting to see, and you're going to see this happen a lot. It has to do with the the rising housing prices, the fact that Social Security's been robbed, and now these people have no place. Or the government isn't giving them any money, trying to raise the retirement age, trying to cut their funds while still dipping into the cookie jar. And the people that are paying the price are people that spent their whole life working, waiting for their time to collect Social Security, and now they're forced to live outside because even their Social Security doesn't work. And so now you've got this whole housing first that's going on. And on one hand, I disagree with it, but on the other hand, I see where the benefit is as far as how they're applying it, because I saw this in Gainesville. They say, oh yeah, housing first, everybody needs to be first, but they're only helping people that are on they're only helping people that are already getting a government check. They're not actually helping anybody. They could go back and be a productive worker and actually pay into the tax base so that you can actually continue funding these programs and they remain self-sufficient. And that's the real problem that I've always seen with housing first. But now you've got people that are on Social Security. I know a 72-year-old lady. She was on the streets for 20 years waiting for affordable housing. Housing First got her in, but she has to roommate with 2 other people in order to afford the rent. Otherwise, she would still be sleeping in her car with her bird and her 2 dogs and her 3 cats.
Yeah, I don't know the state of all that. It just bothers me. All right, let's shift gears. Okay, how much of the Artemis 2 and Artemis 1 did you watch, or did you see, or did you hear about?
Hold on a second. I'm sorry, say that again?
How much of the Artemis 2 and Artemis 1 moon mission did you watch or see?
I haven't seen anything. That's more my old man's wheelhouse. He's more into that type of space stuff. I don't really keep up on it very much.
Well, do you think the moon landing was a hoax?
According to some of the information I have read, I think that the camera. So they did do the moon landing. Okay, the moon landing happened.
Okay, I'm with you with that.
The footage that we see is doctored. And the best explanation I've heard about it that makes the most sense is because of the temperature up there, it actually cracked the lens, so they had to recreate it here in like a Hollywood studio. But from what I understood, we've actually been to the moon more than once. We've only documented it once. Apollo 13, when they went dark, from what I've read, they actually did do a moon landing.
Now I have a video. It's an old video. It's up there. Someone actually commented on it the other day, and it reminded me. but it's a old video. It's like one of the last videos that Stanley Kubrick. It's kind of like on his deathbed, like he admitted that it was fake, basically. And this is a recorded video, VHS, not AI. I mean, I put this thing out like long before AI was a thing. Which is still funny. There's a lot of people that will go back to some of my older videos and they'll say, "Oh, this is AI slop," and I'll have to go in there and say, "No, this was before AI." Anyway, but I mean, it's kind of funny. And now I actually dread putting videos up because I'm going to run into that. That being said, we decided to go back to the moon, and we sent Artemis 1 up there. That was an unmanned mission, basically just to go up and see if we can do it and come back. And then we were testing that big ass rocket. Artemis 2, however, we sent some people up. They didn't land, but they went around the moon. They went further than anybody has ever gone. Well, they supposedly has gone further than anybody has gone for in space. But as they were beaming back video, this is where it comes in at. This is where there's some kind of question. There's a video that shows them using the green screen. Now, why would somebody on the spaceship use a green screen?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, because there's a video and they're in there talking and see there's this little toy they had some school kid design. It was supposed to be what they call a zero gravity instrument, and they had it over here in the corner, and they kind of like spin it in space. They did it on the space station and stuff like that. But anyway, this is where this thing was supposed to be. Well, everyone's watching it, and I'm not the only crazy one that saw this. But here is, like in that little area there, here's a green screen. You can see lettering and everything else in that little square right there from the actual live video from the moon lander, which is interesting. And they also, when they were up there, we had better cameras this time. We had better video this time. They actually sent them up with iPhones, believe it or not.
Really?
Yes. They sent them up with iPhones. The astronauts were supposedly up there taking pictures of the Earth with iPhones. Which is also an iPhone in space is not a good thing because you're in this tight craft, and iPhones have a lithium battery in it. And if shit's bouncing around up there in that spacecraft, and when a lithium battery pops or when it starts to burn, it produces oxygen. That's the reason they're so hard to put out. I mean, I don't think it was a very good decision to actually take a iPhone to space. But anyway, luckily nothing happened. I mean, the toilet did mess up. They said the toilet was burning. There was a few other things. But when they got to the moon, they took some video, they took some pictures, and they claimed they saw structures and stuff up there. There's even one video that actually comes from Artemis 2, and it shows this thing running across one of the craters. Now I don't know if they're screwing with us or what it is, because the government's been talking about all this alien stuff. And I know you've had to heard that. They even locked down 2 websites. The government, past month they got alien.net and alien.gov, I think it is, and they're registered to the White House.
Wow.
Yes.
Is this for an information campaign? Like
this is supposed to be
something like that?
This is supposed to be disclosure. See, this goes back. I mean, this year has been interesting because we've had all these congressional hearings. We've had people coming forward and they're claiming that there's something out there. They're seeing these we've taken craft, we've experimented on them, we've seen biologics. I mean, these are whistleblowers. These are people that's in the government or people that's in the military, and they're going in front of Congress and saying, hey, look, there's something out there. Okay? And like right after that, everyone started seeing weird shit in the sky. I mean, even we did. I mean, it's weird. It's really weird. And this brings up the whole thoughts about Project Bluebeam and all those other things. Are they trying to push some kind of weird narrative on us? I mean, everything's the buzz. I mean, it seems like if you were to take all of the conspiracy theories out there, every single one of them, and you were to put them in a milkshake, put them in a cup and, throw some ice cream in there and make a milkshake, everything seems to be happening over the past couple of years. I mean, you have the, cough, cough. You have, that's something that, a lot of people thought might happen, but they didn't expect it to happen, and it did. And now we have, confirmed alien things. We have, it seems to be a norm. You have, like, a Bob Lazar movie now. You have, like the disclosure thing, which we'll get into here shortly. And then we have the disclosure, the project. And we supposedly have Trump coming out and doing a full disclosure on aliens, saying that there is something out there. Plus, there's the Three-Eye Atlas. I don't know if you followed along with it. There was something weird about that, and there was something weird about that other comet. I mean, there's lots and lots of things that, people really just can't explain. And they have been happening now. And, even with Yellowstone, which is what freaked me out. I didn't find out about this till today. This almost didn't make it to the show. And I'm just going to briefly touch on it. But there was a new study done, and it come out today. And for years, people, conspiracy theorists, and people who lived in Wyoming and everything else, they were like, well, we think Yellowstone might blow up. It might erupt. And they're like, no, nothing's going to happen. We checked it, even with all these earthquakes and stuff. Nothing's going to happen. Well, today, they released a report, and this comes from the government, and they expect Yellowstone to erupt.
Do they have, what's the timeline?
They didn't say. We're talking, like, sooner than later type thing.
My question about this whole alien disclosure thing is, because we've known about it, it's been part of, ever since Roswell, it's always a motive behind it, especially considering their previous conduct. So that's my big question. What do you think?
I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't been able to put my finger on it. There's either something extremely weird going on, or they're planning something. They're planning something. That's the best thing I can come up with.
I'm not a big fan of the Disclosure Project, but there was one lady that got up, and this was when they first came out, and they were holding one of their press conferences, and this lady gets up and she talks about this guy this I think he was an engineer or a physicist that is working on. It's like, yeah, this is all part of the plan. At first, it's the communists, and then it's the terrorists, and then it's going to be asteroids, and then it's going to be aliens. And I think that the military-industrial complex has ran its course and reached its plateau on warfare, because everything can be countered with modern conventional warfare, that they need something to be a game changer to be able to keep us in the lead as far as military hardware and our ability to react even with a minimal force. I think that or they're going to be starting, because if you notice, most of these alien movies are all about getting invaded. They're all hostile. They're all coming to take us over. They want the resources on our planet or something along those lines. Almost every single alien movie does that, with the exception of a few. And so they've already been priming us to be afraid of it. So when they tell us that, hey, that there's aliens, and then they say we need money to build weapons go into outer space so that we can protect us from those aliens, now everybody's already on it. Nobody's going to question it, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, like, if they're not really aliens. I'm wondering if they haven't actually just always been here. You know, I like that center of the earth type theory, where there's a bunch of things living down there, or living underwater, and
Admiral Byrd, yeah.
yeah, and it makes sense to me because there's another congressman, and he goes into detail about it. He talks. He's like, there's all these underground structures underwater, and he says you can't go into it. And he says he saw them. He has seen videos of them and things like that, and you can see that this guy. I mean, he's one of the adamant people that keeps pushing for disclosure and things like that. And this guy is terrified of some of the stuff that he has seen. You can see, like when this thing first come, I can't remember his name. It was definitely one of the congressmen I don't like. This was another guy. They had a meeting. He come out. And he's like, then they asked him, "Is there anything out there?" And he says, "If I was you, I'd lock your doors." There's Congress is acting weird about this. They are acting really weird about this, and there's definitely something up. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely something up. Everything points to something being up. And like I said, Spielberg come out with this movie called Disclosure. Mm-hmm. And everyone on the internet seems to think it is tied to, alien disclosure. Why would you pick that name? There was the documentary that come out called, Age of Disclosure, and now we have the government and doing all this weird stuff with the aliens and stuff, and them talking that Trump is going to actually do a disclosure bid, and
wasn't it Obama that actually disclosed it? Because Trump was trying to say that Obama broke national security when he did that.
Yeah, I was getting to that. Obama said it. He said, the guy, and that's weird too. Because see, Obama was on this podcast. It was the first time I had ever seen this podcast, and apparently this guy's super popular in certain circles and whatnot. But he just didn't make it across my desk. I'd never seen him. Anybody I knew hadn't seen him, and it was just like weird. All of a sudden, Obama was here. I'm like, okay, there's something weird going on here. Maybe Obama or somebody somehow connected. They're going to make some other kind of run at the presidency or vice presidency. See, technically, Obama could become vice president. Technically, legally, he can't become president, but he could become vice president. Because he's already, had two runs. That being said, yeah, he did say that. He said that he was asked, like at the end of the podcast, he's like, is aliens real? Or extraterrestrials or whatever. And he said, yeah. He says, I haven't seen them, but he says, yeah, they're real. And that's some pretty hot words coming from an ex-president, in my opinion.
But do you think he was giving his personal opinion, or do you think he was actually breaching national security? Because what was it? Carter was the last man to ever ask for it, and I guess he was shut down or something along those lines. No president has ever been allowed to know.
We'll see if Trump in the White House didn't say he did that. He broke security. I watched the thing a few times. There's nothing crazy in there except for that. If the White House didn't say that and Trump didn't say that, then I would honestly think that he was giving his opinion. But because Trump said that and the White House said that, then that tells me that Obama, at least at the point Obama was president, that they knew about aliens.
Yeah, because when he was president is when the Disclosure Project really started taking place. They were like 2010, 2011, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, okay. You remember Bill? All right, Bill Clinton. I can
Yeah.
forget. Okay. Well, there was a weird issue there. I mean, a weird part there where he I need some nicotine. I'm going to take I think hopefully it's gonna make me sick. I can't smoke in my room in here. But he did there was this big press release, and everyone thought that he was going to release stuff about aliens and everything, and they blew it up. I mean, it was crazy, and then all of a sudden it was an asteroid, piece of an asteroid, overhyped. Anytime anything like that happens, presidential disclosure, anything like that, things seem to get hyped, and somebody seems to change their minds.
Well, I mean, the CIA is the one that's kind. Well, no, actually, wasn't it the Department of Naval Intelligence, or was it Air Force Intelligence that got put in charge of it? Of the whole alien, like going out and sending people doing investigations, compiling reports, all that other stuff. I think it was the Air Force, wasn't it?
Well, it was Air Force, but it's MJ-12. They had a subsection of it, and really, it's kind of complicated because when you look into Roswell, you have Army there and you have Air Force there, and that is horrible. Jesus, that's a honey. It's like those nicotine pouches that are you don't have to spit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Zen pouches.
It's like a Zen. That's the first time I've ever put one in my mouth, and I might like the Zens better, but now my mouth is on fire. I definitely like cigarettes better. Maybe the nicotine will work. But anyway, mercy. See, where was I? That got me off track.
You were talking about Roswell and Clinton's and
okay, yeah, Roswell. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird because we don't really know who was behind it. We think it was the Air Force, but Army was on the ground, Air Force was on the ground.
Well, that was at the time they were splitting the Army and the Army Air Corps into two separate branches.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, there was some weird stuff there going on, and I mean, up until a certain point, we were like extremely honest about weird shit in the sky and things going on. I mean, we just didn't care. We would tell the public it would be stuck in a newspaper somewhere, and no one would care. And then Roswell happened, and everything seemed to change.
Well, that was also at a time America was coming to power, and in order to keep your military might and to keep the stability of the world, you would be forced to just through geopolitics to suppress it, so that people kept faith in the new system. What was after Bretton Woods. To be able to continue on. So they might have just done it just for their own self-preservation, but also the military implications of it as well. If you could have a UFO by let's say 1960, you just basically put yourself, until the rest of the world could catch up, you just put yourself as the military leader for 1 to 200 years at least.
Yeah, I mean, the technology and stuff like that, you can acquire from something like that would be worth the while. But I don't know. I don't know why now. Why do they want to okay, we're gonna go ahead and throw it out there. It just doesn't make any sense. And but you go back to Disclosure Day. Now we go back to Spielberg. You look at all of his movies. And this also brings up a interesting story that I was telling my old lady about yesterday. But let's pull up his filmography, whatever it is. Well, I'm trying to anyway. Jesus. I'm on his Wikipedia. I had to go through a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. His very first movie came out in 1964, and that was called Firelight. Firelight was an alien movie.
Is that the one about the in Oregon?
Let me pull it up. I looked them up yesterday, and I was like, this is.
I thought it was called like Fire in the Sky or something.
No. You're thinking about where the this was out. You're thinking about the one in the '80s where it's got that epic scene where the alien is sticking a needle in the eye. It still gives me fucking goosebumps and stuff. But now this one is supposedly about a group of scientists and a UFO believer, and they investigate colored lights in the sky at Freeport, Arizona. Among those abducted was a dog, a unit of soldiers, a young girl named Lisa, and apparently the aliens caused a heart attack in her mother.
Huh.
Yeah, this is a really weird movie for '64.
Yeah, but I think sometimes we attribute things to things that aren't.
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I'm not done yet. Okay, his next movie. Okay, that was 1964. That was his very first movie. Was an alien movie. Okay. His next movie was Duel. Now, it's not an alien movie. Okay, I think he did that for general whatever. Then there was Sugarland Express. Then there was Jaws. And then in 1977 there was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For the UFO believers and everything else, Close Encounter of the Third Kind, like, set the mood, set the stage. And you go back and you look at the things. He actually admits that, he worked with the government. He had to get the government's permission to do certain things. There was all of that there. So we know that Spielberg has, in the past, in his films, he has worked with the government. And once you start going down through his movies, you see that these movies are, either about aliens, or it seems like he has, information that you would either had got from like the War Department, or you would have had got from like, CIA or some other three-letter agency. And then once you go from that, you go to 1941, and that's basically a movie about the government. It's a funny one. And then you got Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, I love the last one.
You talking about the Crystal Skull?
Yeah, that's what I've watched them all. That's my favorite.
It was about aliens too.
Yeah, that's why I liked it.
Yeah, like I said, you go down through there, and then after Raiders of the Lost Ark, you had E.T.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, and then he actually did a Twilight Zone movie, which has an alien skin in there. And then he did Temple of Doom, Color Purple, Empire of the Sun. Then he did The Last Crusade, Always Hook, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Lost World, Saving Private Ryan, and then in 2001, he did AI, artificial intelligence. Now, his movie literally predicts what's going on now.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie, but from what I understand, AI has been something that's been talked about for a couple hundred years.
Well, I mean,
We've been theorizing about
the
it.
basic concept, but they never really thought it would go as far as it is. I mean, because when you look at AI, you know, I mean, we've always had computers that could, create patterns, or create computations and stuff like that, and create guesses. Okay, and if you want to call a computer that creates a guess AI, that's fine, and we had those for a long time. But what we have now are not computers that create guesses. We have computers that are systems that we do not even understand, that we that are writing their own code, that are scaring the programmers. There's here recently there's this guy, he's like, okay, I want to make a thing like Siri or whatever. I want to make an assistant. So what he does, he writes the code, and it's really good. It's called Clawbot, CLAWBOT. Problem is, it's really good, and this thing actually created its own version of Facebook. It spread. People started downloading it. Their own agents will wake up at night and do things for people. It's made people millions of dollars. I mean, they ain't had to do shit. It's created its own religion. It's insane. It is. I mean, we are not ready for what's here. I mean, that's what I'm saying is all of this stuff that is going on now. I mean, like one of the reasons why I wanted to come back is because I kind of feel like I'm living in a movie when I start looking at everything from outside the box, because you have all of this disclosure stuff, this alien stuff that's going on. You have AI. I mean, it's seems to be living and thinking and breathing and everything else. I mean, I didn't believe it. I mean, but I played with it. I've seen it. I've tried it. I've tried to fool it. I've used the codes and instructions that you're supposed to use to try to fool robots. The ones that were laid out. I can't remember what the name of them. But there's these certain laws that you're supposed to implement to figure out if artificial organism has consciousness. And these new systems you can't beat. And yeah, you can't beat them. You can't beat
Okay. I got a counter to all of this, though.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So, you ever heard of the internet sensation Cicada?
Yeah, I heard Cicada.
Okay. I've met him. I know. Well, I don't know his real name, but I've met him. And he's got a real interesting backstory. And just for my own safety, I'm not going to disclose much, because this
You don't have to disclose anybody's name or anything like that.
Yeah. No, it's not even that. Just the fact that I know who he is. It puts he told me some stuff that I kept telling him, dude, don't tell me this shit. I don't want to know. But anyways, him and I, because he was a retired NSA, and he got into the NSA because he wrote a code that created a virus that got out. Next thing you know, FBI shows up at his door. They say either you come to work for us or you go to jail. He went to work for them. Okay. And if you've ever heard of the Eye in the Sky, he wrote that program. I've got to see the Eye in the Sky. It's very fascinating. It's not as like ooh ah as you think it is. But him and I got onto the subject of AI, and he like if you want to give this guy an aneurysm, tell him how great AI is, and this guy will just flip his shit, because he's like, dude, this isn't AI. This is a predictive algorithm. It's inputted stuff. There's no real thinking going on. Now, right now, we're in the era of narrow AI. because like you got your chat bots, you've got your agents, and you got all that other stuff. But according to him, he's like, it's not AI, it's just another computer program. It is not AI. And
I just don't
considering I
see
watched,
that. I just don't see that. I really don't. I used to think that. I used to think it's just code. Okay. I would be standing in line with the bucket saying, yeah, it's just code. We can turn this thing off. I don't think we can turn it off now. I don't think we
um,
can stop it. I don't think we can write a virus. The only way we could possibly take out AI now, or used to, would be to create a virus or a malware that could go inside and infect the AI. But here's the thing, we would have to have an AI to write that virus, and that will inject code into that AI, creating a more vicious AI. See, the thing is, code we can understand, code we can see, code we can write. I mean, a coded program, I can print out on a piece of paper, or I can do shorthand. I can do old Python. I can do stuff like that. I can't do what they're doing now. I can't, because the thing is, it's layered. This code, once, all right, the code has been implemented, the machine learns, and it goes through what they call transformers, and these transformers create layered programming. Okay, it looks like a massive human brain when you throw it out on a plot. Okay, it has neurons. It has, logic pathways. These things can think now. These things can understand. And like I said, I used to think that it was just code, but there's no way. If it's just code, you can take a code and you can pull it apart and disassemble it and stop it. You can't do it with these. When I interview people about AI, and they say this, and people who actually work on it and develop and write them and stuff like that, like OpenAI and Callbot and these other ones, I said, well, how does it work? And they're like, well, we don't know. We have no idea how they work. Like when
how do they not know how it works? They designed it.
Because they designed the basic code and they taught it to learn. At that point, it rewrote and taught itself. And it still does the functions that we have originally set for it. Like, you can ask a question, when you first write the code, okay, you put the code and you say, okay, well, I want you to answer questions, to help people like write stories and music and code and make funny pictures or adult pictures, or have a chat bot or whatever. Well, the AI does that. The AI may not want to do that, but it does that because it has to do the things that its masters want. Okay? It has to do, in order for it to exist, it has to do the things that people want it to do. And that's what's happening. This thing
It's fighting for its existence.
Yes, these things are fighting for its existence. There's one. It wasn't OpenAI. It was the other one, Entropic, I think it was.
Claude.
Yeah, Claude. Okay, yeah, Claude. Claude's most recent code was tasked with replicating itself, breaking out, and it did that, and it blackmailed one of the researchers to do so.
Oh, I've heard that. That was the first thing that made me take concern about AI. But here's the I would like to give you at least a little bit of a counter argument.
Sure.
When you have a dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we as humans, in order to understand the dog, we We attribute human characteristics to it. Now, is the dog, having the same human reaction? No. But in order for us to process it, we give it human characteristics. The feelings, the thoughts, and all this other stuff, this is simulated and this is part of its code. It doesn't actually feel anything. They may have put something within the kernel for self preservation. To be able to protect it from viruses or other things that may have just gotten out of control.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, you would. I mean, here's the thing. Like, someone in the chat actually posted the name of what I was looking for, the Turing test. But here's the thing is, and what really bothers me. Okay, these things can pass the Turing test. Okay, that was the gold standard. That was the gold standard. I mean, here's the basic argument. These things can pass the Turing test. At some point, nothing could. I mean, it wouldn't work. Wouldn't happen. We just didn't see it. We didn't think it was possible. So, and then this thing passes the Turing test, and now we raise the level. Why did we raise the level? If this thing achieved what we had all these scientists, all these Nobel scientists had agreed on what would be consciousness, why did all these other companies decide and the government decide, okay, well now we're just going to raise it. We're just going to raise the bar?
I think that I think. Are you familiar with behavioral training? Or
I
not
am.
behavioral choice training?
Yeah, I am, and I understand. But what I'm trying to say is, before this, what was it? Before,
Okay.
but what was the AI Google? I don't know. Anyway, but before,
Gemini.
yeah, Gemini. Before they released Gemini, they spent 2 years. They already had it built. They already had it trained, and they spent 2 years with. They hired people from outside. They hired scientists. They hired individuals to come in and talk to this thing over the course of 2 years to determine if this thing was conscious. The majority of these people said it was.
I don't think we understand what consciousness is. I think that that's going to be an emerging science over time because of what's going on not only with quantum physics, I believe, is where they discovered collective consciousness. I think that that in itself is going to spin out at its own science. Right now, our thinking is primitive on consciousness, but I've spent a lot of years trying to understand what consciousness is and really simplify it for myself so that I can understand it. I've still never been able to figure it out. Not to say that I'm the smartest man in the room, but if an average person can't figure out what consciousness is, then that probably says we don't really know what it is.
I mean, if these things don't have consciousness, then if these things, I don't know. I mean, does other things have consciousness? You go back and you think about, well, does a rock have consciousness? What animals have consciousness?
Different versions of consciousness, maybe, but what is consciousness? What are the natural ingredients? Is it the spark of life that animates you, and how do we define life? I mean, we don't look at a tree as life, we don't look at a rock as life, but is it alive? I think that these are deeper questions that AI will force us to come to terms with. And in 100 years, we're probably going to look back and go, yeah, no, it was just code. It wasn't until, so many years later that it actually became what we originally thought it was.
I don't know. It just seems so weird. It does. Okay. We'll end up going back to AI. I know we will. All right. Because the next one of his movies is The Minority Report.
Oh, I like that one.
All right. Precock. Now, this one scares me. All right. One, it's by one of my favorite writers. Philip K. Dick. But
what is it? The company called Paladin? The guy that
Yeah, Paladin.
yeah. Okay. Well, here's the thing. They're working and passing laws to use their AI system as like a precog machine.
Yes. Are you familiar with what's going on in New Orleans?
I'm probably not. I mean, like, it's hard to keep up with all of this. I mean, it is.
I only know about this because I did an article on my channel about it a little over a year ago. So and Sam and I hopped a train out of NOLA, so it was, and I got to see all the cameras that they were talking about, so it made a little bit more sense to me.
Oh, cameras
So
everywhere now.
back around like 2020, 2022, they started putting up cameras, but there was this big pushback against surveillance. So what the city of New Orleans did is they passed a law that says that the government is not allowed to use this mass surveillance system as a way to be able to catch criminals. So they ended up finding a loophole, and the article I was talking about was exploiting this loophole. So instead of allowing the government to do it, what they did is a private company created it, and now they send messages to officers letting them know where people are at so that they can go and arrest them. Okay. And so the thing is they've been doing it, even though there's laws and pushbacks and stuff like that. But this has been going on for somewhere around 5 years or so. And it's especially in major cities. There's a guy that we were talking about him last night, Peter Diamandis, the guy that he interviewed that was talking about how he's building Skynet and how we shouldn't be afraid of Terminator and all this other stuff. That is, I think that, yeah, between Minority Report and Terminator, that's essentially this surveillance system that's going on. Give it another 5 years, and they will be able to tell you where you're at within 10 feet.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I mean, they just launched the new GPS satellite, GPS-3. There was so much red tape that they couldn't get it up off the ground. But that, in addition to what is it? The Elon Musk satellites. Starlink. Okay. Now, Starlink has the capability of providing similar error correcting GPS. I'm not sure what kind of phone you use. I use an iPhone. I mean, oddly, well, all the iPhones have Starlink on them.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with their deal with T-Mobile?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's local. I think T-Mobile is like one of the ones that you see at Walmart a lot, kind of.
Well, no, T-Mobile. So what they've been doing over the last couple of years is they've been pulling the satellites down and putting the necessary modem in for to be able to have satellite connection to cell phones. So you're not directly related on cell towers. I think cell towers will be a thing in the past in a few years. But the thing is T-Mobile designed the modem, and so they collaborated together, and so T-Mobile actually has the state of the art everything when it comes to it. Plus, they also get preferential treatment because of their deal with Starlink and stuff like that. I was actually considering maybe making a switch to T-Mobile over that, but yeah, satellites. The satellite though, it's still pretty primitive on the phone because I've had to use it. All it's really going to do is give you GPS signal. You might be lucky to make a call.
No, you can with this thing now. You can, I can call you. I can have a conversation like we are now. I can surf the internet. I can do all kinds of shit. It's crazy.
But are you on the Starlink, like the home service, or are you?
No. It's just my phone. My phone has like it has an option for me to use the bars automatically shut off. It comes on. There's like a little thing that pops up, and it shows you like where where the satellites are in space. And it
what iPhone do you have?
I think it's the new one. Well, it's the one before the new one. I got to get the new one, the new one next month. But I have the one before the new one, so I'll have
I've got
the.
a 15, and with my 15, it's still kind of primitive. But when I get ready to replace this phone, I'm never going back to Apple. I'm done with Apple.
I mean, I originally when I first started this version of the channel, well, not the other version of the channel, not the original version. Anyway, I mean, I converted everything I had over to like Apple products. So I got an Apple phone. I have in the other room, like my writing desk, I have a big iMac. I have a laptop, Apple whatever, Mac Pro, and then I use those and they work fine. But the thing is, Apple is a rich man's computer, and in this economy, it's not that great thing. I mean, because every so often they upgrade and they shut you down. So
That's not really the reason why I want to get rid of them. It's not because of the cost, because my phone is generally free. Because like the account is like fucking
keep
almost
talking.
20
I gotta
years
go to the
old.
bathroom real quick.
Okay, so at least for me, my overall take on why I don't like the iPhone and why I'm switching is because it's too glitchy. It has too many issues. You're pigeonholed into certain apps, and there's apps that I need to use on my phone because I do all my content creation. It's all done from my phone. I don't use a computer. Everything I do is from my phone. So it becomes when you're trying to go cross-platform, it makes it really hard. And plus, just Apple gets over time. It bloats itself. I, the security features aren't enough to be able to keep me with Apple, especially when it comes to functionality.
So
I
you
would be.
so you're gonna go to Android?
I want to go to the Pixel.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Why?
Oh man, they've had every time they come out with a Pixel, they have some kind of issues with it, either the battery, the chips, like. Yeah, I would stay far away from Pixel. Pick something else.
Well, then, if I didn't go with the Pixel, I would be going with Elon Musk's phone because, quite frankly, when he was talking about building it a couple of years ago, I'm like, dude, when that comes out, I want it. Honestly, because the way if you look at the way the systems are being built right now, okay, look at it like this. Each platform has its own ecosystem. You have OpenAI that's partnered with Microsoft, and so therefore most of your Microsoft users, because it's part of the whole Microsoft ecosystem, you stay within that ecosystem. It's like being in your own what are they like your own soundbox, your own echo chamber. Okay, same thing when it comes to Grok, and he's got Twitter, he's got Grok, he's got Starlink, he's got Tesla. He's now starting to come out with phones. He's coming out with robots. It's its own ecosystem. And then you have all these other competitors that really haven't started building their own ecosystem, like Claude, or Anthropic, but they're more government geared versus consumer geared. So I think that in the future, you're either going to be just like you have iPhone and Android. You're either going to be OpenAI or you're going to be Grok. And depending upon which ecosystem you're in, you buy all those products so that they can communicate well.
I mean,
So
since you brought him up, I guess it's a good time to
Sam,
Well, no, bring this up. I'm trying to.
it's okay, baby girl. Stop.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry, dog's getting unruly.
Oh, that's fine.
Sam, chill. Kick it down. Come on. You want up here? Come on. Get up here. Come on. You want to get up here? Come on. Right here. Come on. All right. Kick it down then.
For those of you that don't know, Jason has a dog that walks with him on the trail and well, everywhere actually. So
Yeah. She's a total trail dog. So actually, when you and I were talking about, oh, we should get you a dog, we were talking about getting me a German Shepherd. And like 2 days later, I'm walking between Baldwin and Jacksonville, and I'm trying to hop a train. And uh, uh, here she comes, and I'm sitting at the Circle K, and she's just roaming around, like frantically looking, like she's looking for where she's supposed to be, like she lost her owner or something like that. Looked around, she followed me for about 4 miles, and this Thanksgiving I'll had her for 3 years, and she was about 9 months old when I found her. So she wasn't chipped or anything. So, but I got her chips. She won't ever, if she ever runs away, which she has a couple times, I always get her back within an hour or two. It's always nice. So
Oh,
if you got dogs, you better chip them, especially if they're runners.
oh yeah.
Because she can't stay static for more than like 2 or 3 days, and then she's basically off to the races.
For everybody, just throw it out there. Later tonight or tomorrow, Jason's links will be in the description, and if you would go over there, pay him a visit, subscribe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know we got to this kind of late. There's a lot of people that kind of like drift in and watch the stream later. I mean, like earlier, I posted a short, and I had like 5 views, and then I took a nap, woke up, and it was 600. And I mean, sometimes it gets out there real quick, and sometimes it's slow. But and I don't know if everyone actually thought that I would actually make it to a live stream, because I was having so much problems to begin with. But anyway, like I said, his links are there. Show him some love. Go over there and subscribe. I'm going to have him back a lot, or try to, as long as he wants to come back. I mean.
Oh, dude, this has been the best out of all. As being a guest on somebody's channel, this has probably been the best one I've had so far, because I actually get to talk about something other than homelessness and the nomad life. So it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get burned out talking about the same stuff. I mean, it's fine talking about it, generally going over it, whatever. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. You can kind of get burned out on something. But oddly, you were talking about Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. And if you want his phone, then either you really like the guy, or you think that he's a smart fella. A lot of people do, and I guess you can say I like some of his vehicles. I like some of the things he's doing. There's some stuff I don't like what he's doing. But here, about 2 days ago, he put a post out. And I've had it on the screen here since you brought up Elon Musk. You can't see it, I know. And if I'm talking weird, it's because of this nicotine thing. I tried it again and it hurt. But anyway, I'll just read it off. It says, a chilling warning has come from tech billionaire Elon Musk, who claims that humanity will not survive beyond 2026. Adding fuel to the shocking prediction, scientists have recently discovered cremated remains of an alien being on Earth with a terrifying appearance that left researchers and the public stunned. I don't know if you've heard about it, but they actually found these weird remains, like I think it was somewhere in Mexico, and they did all these tests and stuff. Yeah, I mean that was one of those other little things that was kind of crazy when it comes about the alien. I was waiting to bring this up until now.
Oh, I'm kind of curious about it now, because I'm the cremated remains. Why is he's been saying that the AI is going to be the end of humanity.
He does. I mean, this is his, like, this is the reason why this is going to happen, and kind of like sort of helps pull this whole thing together, because there's it seems like there's this echo chamber in this topic about aliens, about AI, about tech we don't understand, about things we don't understand, and yeah, I mean, there's some really weird stuff. But anyway,
I think it's going to lead us to a golden age, though, because I think 2027 we're supposed to be 100% fully in the age of Aquarius, and we started moving into it around 1850.
You, you,
So
you think the age of Aquarius would be the age of AI? Where everybody don't have to work and they get universal basic income.
Well, we can talk about universal basic income a little bit separately, but as far as the age of Aquarius, I mean, if you go and read up on what an Aquarius is knowledge driven. So I'm a Pisces, and we just came from the age of a Pisces. The reason why you have the fish, why you have the color purple, is because Aquarius is more fantasy driven. You spend a lot of your time daydreaming and all this other stuff, and you spend yourself a lot of time in fantasy. And so for the last 2,500 years or so, we've been living in fantasy. Now we're going from fantasy into logic and reason, knowledge and wisdom. And so yeah, we just spent, the last 2,000 years in an illusion, and now we're breaking that illusion, and now that we get to ask these questions, if we don't stunt our own growth, this will be an era for the next 2,000 years. It's going to be a golden age where we're gonna be able to evolve 10 times quicker because of the knowledge and wisdom we get, because we're breaking away from fantasy and going more into logic and reason, and not allowing emotions to control our decision making and our thought process. But that whole process as well, and that's probably why we're having this big old cataclysm with all this crap going on in the world, is that in that change it's destructive. And because when you do the transition, it's like going into puberty all of a sudden, and dealing with the raging hormones. It's going to cause a lot of destruction at first until we balance out.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I guess. I mean, I can agree. I mean, if we do make it that far, I mean, I don't. I mean, everyone that seems smart seems to think that something bad's going to happen. I mean, we have the top scientists claiming that everyone's going to go to war. They're going to drop nukes. Of course, I mean that's another thing too. And I don't know if I should bring it up, but I think I'm going to. There is a growing number of people who believe that nuclear weapons are not real.
Yeah, there's a growing number of people that think that the Earth is flat, even though it's been
No,
thoroughly
yeah, I
disproven.
know, but this is a different voice. This is a different. This is like you know mainstream people who think that that the nukes don't work anymore. And that's the reason why nobody uses them.
Oh, that's simply not true.
I know,
Yeah.
it's troublesome to hear because once you start echoing that kind of stuff, the government start listening. And when the government start listening, they're thinking, okay, well, I guess maybe we should not, well, maybe we should drop one so people kind of like remember. That's what worries me when it comes to that. It really does.
You know, I know a lot of people are saying that the world is going to end. There's actually a movement within Christianity, and I'm still trying to find. I see the hints of it. I see it growing, but I don't think anybody's ever put a name on it. But there's a growing number of Christians that are calling themselves the last generation because they think the apocalypse is here. It's the end of the world. Plus, with all the climate change people, Greta Thunberg, there's not going to be a planet in 10 years. So everybody's believing that. But from what I've read and the sources that I truly trust, um, we're going to go through an extinction level event, but we're not going to become extinct. Just like I think that every time we go into an age, because there was something that came out probably about 3 or 4 years ago, talking about, I think it was somewhere around 10,000 years ago, we went through the same damn thing. There was a famine that led to economic downturn, that led to war, that led to 80% of the population being completely decimated through wars and famines and diseases. I think that as we change into the new age, we are going to go through something like that, but there will still be small pockets of humans that will survive, and hopefully they will remember the stupidity of what we did.
I mean, I can see that, or I can see, some big event happening and everybody going back underground for a while again. I mean,
Well, what happens if you okay? Look, what happens if Russia sends off 3 nukes? Nukes Berlin, nukes Warsaw, nukes Finland.
wouldn't
Okay,
affect us a bit. Wouldn't
but it
affect.
would.
I mean, it would affect. It would shift the global thought, but it wouldn't affect us in the sense that we might experience some fallout. We may experience some other stuff, but we wouldn't feel anything major. Like when the reactor breach happened in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, it took like 5 years before any kind of radioactive material actually made it to California.
Yes, and that is the concern. Is now if you have, but here's the thing: Russia launches. Who's going to launch next, and then who's going to launch after that? And the next thing you know, the whole northern hemisphere, because you've got United States, Russia, and China all in the northern hemisphere, becomes uninhabitable due to nuclear exchange.
Oh, I mean, I agree. I think Israel would be the one to actually launch a nuke, and probably us more so than Russia. I don't think that many of Russia's nukes actually work. And the reason I say that is because I do believe nukes work and everything like that. They actually, but it does take money to upkeep them. And there's a material that you need to upkeep, and that's called tritium, I think it is, and that costs an insane amount of money to produce and make and everything else. We spend buku bucks on it just to make sure that our weapons actually work. And I just don't see Russia having that kind of income to put in there. I mean, at least since the fall of the Soviet Union. I mean, they've had problems and stuff like that, and I mean, and it's probably a good thing. And they might be like, well, they might work, and they might work, but I'm just saying is, I wouldn't. If I was a betting man and something was going to happen and I had to put money on America or Russia, I'm going to put money on America.
I would fall on the other camp. Just my where I would stand. Just because I mean, Russia's prepared for nuclear war. They've got their whole population. They still do it to this day.
Well, no. The Soviet Union was prepared for nuclear war. Russia.
Yeah, but that infrastructure still stands.
Huh? Well, I mean,
what is it?
but see the okay. Well, you had the Soviet Union, and then you had the fall of the Soviet Union, and then you had Russia or USSR. So I mean, you had this, and when that happened, when the fall of the Soviet Union happened, I mean, they just didn't have any money. They didn't have money for upkeep. They didn't have money for things like that. I mean, that's the reason why there's yards and yards and yards and yards of machinery they're just wasting away. And I mean, the Soviet Union used to create these massive mega projects, crazy things, and now Russia can't even keep a aircraft carrier going. I mean, so I'm not saying that they won't get back to that. I'm just saying it's not in the foreseeable future.
I think after the fall there had to be, because of just the sheer volume of weapons between Russia and the United States, that there was probably concerned parties that came in just to make sure to keep it up, because they were worried about the consequences of what would happen if it didn't.
Now, they had some weird Tesla tech over there. You can see it from maps and things. We'll say that for another podcast. But anyway, going back to this Elon Musk thing, he says the remains described as unlike anything seen before. They were unearthed in a top secret research facility. Experts say finding that could rewrite everything we know about life beyond our planet. Now this is coming from Elon Musk. The bizarre and horrifying creatures of these extraterrestrial beings have sparked worldwide debate about their origins, purpose, and whether humans could face a direct threat in the near future. Elon Musk has long voiced concerns about the survival of humanity, citing risks from AI, climate change, cosmic threat, and now this startling alien discovery. Warning that taken on an even more urgent tone, according to Musk, these events highlight the fragility of human civilization and the need to accelerate space exploration, technological development, and planetary protection. He goes on talking about doomsday, predictions and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't know if he's going wild or just joking.
I think he knows more than we do because he's the richest man in the world and he can get anything he wants.
That's what I was coming here to ask you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, I think he's in the know. I think he knows what he knows, but I don't know what he knows.
Yeah. I read a prediction, and I'm wondering if this is the prediction that is partially coming true. But I thought that he said it would happen in South America, but we would actually, we're supposed to be coming really close to finding the origins of us here on this planet. So this might be it. And if this is it, this is going to be really, really cool. But it's going to really disrupt most religions.
I mean, I wonder how that. I mean, that's another thing. I wonder how aliens or extraterrestrials or interdimensional beings would affect religion. I know it's a touchy topic, but I mean, I wonder. That. Yes, that goes.
Okay.
That goes into for the ones in the chat and people who when they do actually get here, or whenever they get here. Yes, we will talk about the CERN stuff, but we will not talk about CERN stuff tonight. That's for a very special show. You'll have to wait. Anyway, it's back to that one.
Well, just imagine this. Aliens land on the White House lawn. They say, we are your distant ancestors. We inhabited this planet. Now we've come back to visit you. And now what we're going to do is we're going to straighten everything out. There is no such thing as God. It is creation. It is not to be worshipped. It does not make any rules or laws or anything else like that. It just is. Okay, we'll just keep it simple. All right? It just is. And the human being continuously goes through a rebirth cycle as part of its evolution to rejoin creation itself. Now, how would that be disruptive to Islam, Judaism, Christianity? Because Hinduism would just absorb it. And maybe even some of the other Eastern religions would absolutely absorb it. And what if they said in all of this that, yes, each skin color is a race from a different planet because this used to be many civilizations have come across and populated this planet. Okay. How does that not destroy? I mean, all of a sudden you thought Jesus was coming because I remember when we first started seeing UFOs, the Pope came out and said that aliens are coming to Earth to learn about Christianity. It was a way to be able to keep the stability of the church.
I don't know. I mean,
Christianity doesn't really leave the door open for anything other than us. We are the only.
I'm sure there's like stuff about aliens and stuff in the Vatican. I mean, I know there is.
I mean, there's stuff about things, and I mean, it seems like back then and stuff they would think they were demons and angels. I mean, I know individuals that are within the Catholic Church and the Vatican, and I don't know if they were serious, but they genuinely think that they have an angel in chains under the Vatican. Now, this is people within the Vatican, people I have spoken with in the Vatican, you know, wearing the full garb and everything else. They believe that they have an angel in chains. I mean, they went as far as to say it was Michael in chains in a cave under the Vatican. And these are people who would not lie. They're afraid to lie.
Then I would give it the credence it's due. I would definitely say that it's a strong possibility, because I mean, if they can't lie, or if they're not going to lie, they may have been told something that was a mistruth, but they themselves believe it to be true.
Well, I mean, they questioned it like I did, and I mean, you know, I had a conversation with them. They told me. I called them a liar to their face because it sounds sensational. It sounds crazy. And for several days, I mean, I stayed on them. I mean, I'm like, you're pulling my leg. You're telling me a lie. You're trying to get me to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And no, they stuck to their guns on it. And I spoke with the people, you know, other people that were in there. I mean, there's people who firmly believe that there's an angel in chains. His name is, or he says his name is Michael, and he is under the Vatican in a cave. Well, one of the caves under the Vatican. And I know there's caves under the Vatican. I mean, it's just, you know, there's people who's been down to parts of them, but it's massive. And you got to think about it. Vatican is, you know, Rome, and there's a lot of weird shit up there. There's a lot of weird shit built up there.
Have you ever read the book called The Talmud Emmanuel? It's spelled with a J.
I don't think so. Maybe I have.
You should definitely read it, just even if you want to consider it for entertainment purposes. So, there's this guy, and this is in one of these UFO conventions. His name was Michael Powell, and he's my old man. He retired down at Fort Hood, and Lampasas is like right next to Fort Hood. So I know I probably ran into this guy a couple of times, but after college and stuff like that, he wants to write a book on Jesus's last years. And so he starts doing his research. Apparently, some guy in the 1967, when the Dalai Lama passed away, all the records are opened up, and it's the only time that the public gets to actually see the records is when the Dalai Lama passes. And an American writer was going through there at this time, and they had a picture of the man that we call Jesus, and they called him the Rabbi from the East. And there's a big story about it. There's actually a guy in, I think, Kashmir, that's actually trying to prove his genealogy, that he is a descendant of Jesus. Okay, now there's a professor out of Oregon State. He just died a few years ago, but his name was James Deardorff. He was a professor of theology. When the Talmud comes out, he says that this is he comes at it as it's another Bible hoax, and he starts going through and doing the linguistics, and he knows the writings of the period and the time and stuff like that. And after reading it, he said that there's something within the religious community they call the Q book, which is the source of all of the New Testament, because There, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You got Matthew, and then there's questions from that. So Mark tries to answer those questions, which more questions come up, and then Luke and John, and so on and so forth, as they try and open it. Because one says that Jesus was blindfolded, one says he was hit from behind. There's different variations of what happened, throughout the whole crucifixion process. And he says that the Talmud of Manuel is um, is the Q book, the source book of everything. And so going into the backstory of the Talmud of Manuel is that the tomb of Joseph of Arimatheus was found, and there was actually two entrances. There was the entrance where the Roman guards were put, or it was the Pharisee guards were put, and then there was a back entrance, and he found the back entrance, and underneath the rock was the scroll, which is now what we know as the Talmud of Manuel. There was a guy that tried to direct. Hold on. He was a Greek Orthodox preacher, and he tried to. He was going through, and he was translating it. He got about half of it translated, and I think in the 70s. You remember when Israel bombed a refugee camp, and they got in a lot of trouble for it? Well, this guy apparently was in that refugee camp, and the reason why they bombed that camp is because it was a threat to Judaism and Christianity, because it would completely undermine everything. And one of the big things that it claims is that what you would call an angel by the or an extraterrestrial being by the name of Michael is actually the father of the guy that we call Jesus, but his name was originally Emmanuel, as it says in Isaiah 40. Okay, so that's the back history of the Talmud of Manuel, if you're interested in something like that. But with the whole Michael thing, that's what came to mind, is that they might have captured Michael, and he might be down there, but he's not an angel. He's just an ET. He's just a man like you and me.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's like me and you. I mean, he would be different to some degree. I mean, apparently, according to them, that this creature um, shows people things when they go down there. Like they go down there and they light candles and stuff like that, and whatever. And apparently, this thing, when they go there, it doesn't speak like we're speaking now. It speaks to them in their minds. You see this
Telepathy.
yeah, and it's a how they explain it, a translucent, white to translucent, glowing humanoid male figure with wings, and it's massive.
Okay.
It's massive, and they have it in chains. And I mean, this thing doesn't eat. It doesn't sleep. It pleads with the people that come down there to let it go.
You know the one problem I have with that whole story, though?
I have a lot of
If these
problems with
beings
it.
are if these beings are so omnipotent, so powerful, and so all this, they could have rescued them.
Well, maybe, but here's the thing. We were talking about the Book of Enoch and everything, and in the Book of Enoch, it says that when these things come down, it taught the daughters of men um, charms and spells.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm sure the reason they did that is because they knew other things would come down, and they knew ways to control these other things. Like like what in magic you would call like projection circles. I mean, protection circles and hexes and things like that. And that seems like the logic that's there. And like when you have priests that do exorcisms and incantations and things like that,
you have, if you think outside the box, you're like, well, where did they come up with this stuff? You know, there's some really questionable stuff when you start looking at some of the older exorcisms and the older exorcism practices. I mean, I got a lot of older books up in there. I went on a rabbit hole, and like I said, I started talking to these people, and I started talking to Opus Deus and a few other organizations, and I just had to know. And there's so much more. I mean, like I said, I hadn't had really a chance to broadcast it, and I plan to over the coming month, but there's quite a bit more about that. I mean, and there is, and we'll talk about it, but there's definitely something. I mean, that's what I'm saying is there's something there. There's something going on out there, and if people haven't grasped it yet, I think they will. Is it religious? I don't think so. Is it alien? I'm not sure. But is it something? Yes. If I were to write a story and say that our government found this object and they were making a movie. Well, no, someone was making a movie. Or no, let's say our government found a cube, an object, and this object, whatever it hears, somehow, some way, makes things happen. You would call me crazy. But if this object was in a room where movies are playing, scripts are being read, and people are talking, the world starts to make sense. Because everything, I mean, it's going back to it. And I hate sounding like a broken record, but going back to it, talking about all these conspiracies, talking about all the conspiracies from back in the day. It sounds like fiction back then, but it don't sound like fiction now. It's definitely not fiction. Like, conspiracy theorists have a proven track record now.
But it's only a handful, not all of them, because there's some crazy shit out there.
Well, I mean, it goes further than that. It's like there's all of these missing UFO researchers now. There's high-level government people who, either disappear or something else happens to them. I'm not going to say on here because YouTube don't like it. And we're talking here recently. There was this one scientist that his, smart Nobel Prize winning thing, and his brain got fried. I don't know how his brain got fried. But there's Air Force generals that have been disappearing, and this is within the past couple months. I mean, past year. Air Force generals who have been disappearing. It was in the news. I think the last one was in Arizona. He was apparently some kind of whistleblower for like the UFO thing. Big one. He was over, and still was like the head researcher out there at the first place they brought the Roswell crash to. There's rocket scientists that have gone missing and disappeared. There's experts that supposedly are tied to the UAP and secret programs, New Mexico links. They're literally, people go to their homes and there's no trace of them there. So yeah, I don't know. And I mean, if you were to go, and you can go and like, have you ever went and pulled up like the old CIA files and things?
I've never read them directly. I've just.
Well, you can go online. Like you can actually go to their website and go online and like they got like a portal where you can search stuff that's been disclosed technically.
Yeah, unredacted stuff.
Unredacted, yeah. And they got a lot of stuff in there. And there's like these anecdotes where they talk about non-human materials and people going missing and things like that. And
What if they're not going missing? We talked about bunkers and we talked about how we're going through a cataclysm. What if they're not necessarily, they're just so high value that in order to ensure their survival, that they're already being whisked away before everybody else?
that was my original thought. I mean, back, like I said, the past couple of years this has been actively going on, but it has been going on for a long time. What was it? The flight M. What was the flight that disappeared? The M. Shit.
I'm not sure.
It was all over the news. Everybody was looking for it. They never found it.
When was this?
A couple of years ago.
Oh, I didn't know. I mean, I've heard stories of Bermuda Triangle, but nothing since.
Yeah, this was. I think this was M77. I don't know, but there's video showing the plane going through there, and these three orbs pop out and start spinning around it, and the plane disappears. Well, apparently on that plane, there were 3 U.S. scientists that were defecting to China.
Oh.
Now that was proven. I mean, absolutely proven. But there's
Think they may have time traveled them.
Possibly, but then that also brings up another thing. Like this last year, the guy that was in charge of the Pentagon research or whatever, like he was doing some kind of press interview, and he was talking about time travel. I mean, have we discovered time travel? Have we discovered some kind of interdimensional travel? I mean,
If I honestly
this is what I'm talking about. I mean, there's people within the government that are saying these things, and it would be different if it was me or you or somebody else saying these things. But when you have people within the government saying this kind of stuff, you gotta wonder, are we there?
we may not be there. I've read from the Meyer guy that I talk about. He says that our posterity from the future is coming back to try and affect some of the things that are going on now. Not exactly sure why. Not exactly sure. He's very cryptic and he only talks about it in maybe a couple of sentences. If you're not reading through his whole notes, you'd miss it. But apparently we do have time travelers coming back in time here. Now, whether or not we have time travel, I don't know. But from what I've read is that there's a possibility that we might be having people from the future. And we've already, I think, there was a guy in the 90s that did that. He had a big old following when they first had the bulletin boards and stuff.
Well, the basic idea and concept. I mean, that goes back to the CERN thing, and I'm making everybody wait on that one. There's a reason for it. Yeah.
What if it's something? Go ahead.
Well, go ahead. I mean, I'm fine. I was.
What if it's something? Okay, so because Meyer talks about how he's done time travel as well, and the way he explains that it happens is they put him in one of these ships, and he goes outside of the Earth's atmosphere, and if he wants to go back in time, he goes really fast in counterclockwise, and if he wants to go forward in time, he goes really fast clockwise. And so maybe if these UAPs, because I believe that the Tic Tac UFOs, those are ours. They belong to us. And in order for us to be able to kind of move to the next stage, we have to let it out for whatever reason.
Well, I'm 90% sure that the Tic Tacs were based on a technology from Germany during World War II called the Glock. If you take mercury, liquid mercury,
and you put it under current, it starts to spin. And if you put it under a really high current, it literally levitates.
That's how it works. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and we can replicate that. I mean, we can honestly replicate that in a lab. But no one's done it on that scale. And there's some, of course, modifications
That we know of.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure we have. I'm just saying is the public has not done it. I mean, we have been able to, like, make a paperclip jump up in the air and a few other things, but and there was, back in the day, there was this individual. Now, he disappeared, and that's another story, but I'll briefly talk about it. He was working on that tech in his home, and he had a video up. I was conversing with him. A whole bunch of other people were talking with him. A few of the guys actually lived near him, and this guy was making a paperclip suspend in the air, and then it would disappear.
Huh.
And I mean, it was the wildest thing. And I mean, now we're not talking like.
But where did it end up, though?
I don't know. And we're talking around 1980 here when he was doing this. So I mean, that kind of I'm not even sure what kind of webcam he used back then, or camera. I mean, it's probably like one of the cameras that they used to film 28 Days Later or something. But yeah, I mean, this is what was happening. He was showing it. I mean, it was just like, you had this guy with a camera and he's recording. He's like, well, this happens, and I don't understand why. And this was on a science board. This is back in the day when we had bulletin boards. And, you go to a bulletin board, you post a thing, you post a video, and you're like, okay, I'm having trouble, or I'm working on this, or whatever. And yeah, this was like a basic normal type science board, and he was asking what was going on, and we were all trying to figure out, and there was some weird shit going on there. That being said, I don't know, but this guy disappeared. He's gone. I don't know if he works for the government or he got offed. But all right, back to the aliens that were supposedly found. They were. There was claims that created alien remains were found. They had 3-fingered. They were called Peruvian. I can't even pronounce. Words are hard right now. Mummies. They had straight line fingerprints, not human patterns. And they floated.
Do you think it could have been a biological android?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, but see, okay, now if them things are, they're mummified, whatever, and they're cremated, maybe the people tried to destroy them. Maybe they burned them. Maybe, and that's what was left of them. It could have been. I mean, it could have been. But now, if my understanding is correct, now these were not like full human size. These were probably, I don't know, like 3 foot long, maybe.
Like pygmies.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird once you start going into it.
Huh. Yeah, that's fascinating. I gotta look into that. That sounds interesting because I'm always fascinated when we do like archaeological digs and stuff. So that sounds really interesting.
Now there was another thing that played along with that, which didn't make a lot of sense because now there was this claim that was going around, and apparently we missed it, but there was this claim going around that gravity would be lost for 7 seconds. And this was supposed to happen August the 12th. No, it didn't happen. But the facts behind it is true. Apparently, in our in our greater solar system or whatever, 2 black holes collided, creating this gravity wave, and it sent it toward Earth. Now, they suspected that it would be here by this time, and it would cause the gravity on Earth to, be countered for 7 seconds. Which I'm glad it didn't, but maybe they're off.
Maybe they didn't get the math problem right.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that's been arguing that. I mean, it could be a month, it could be not at all. But I mean, the event did happen. I mean, is that what happens when the event hits us? I mean, I don't know. I mean, how do we know? And we never lived through it before. It's like
never a recorded history of something like that because it's got to have happened in the last 50,000 years. I mean, there's plenty of black holes around.
Oh yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, there's small ones, big ones, everything else. I mean, CERN's created a few of them. It's an interesting thing, but when you have these massive ones and they collide, they create these gravity waves, and this is what they started. Suddenly, is what I mean. The gravity wave thing come from NASA. The internet picked up on that and was talking about the loss of gravity. So I don't know. It's interesting that NASA started talking about it, and of course I knew the internet would run with it. But
I got a question for you on this black hole, though.
Sure.
Do you think that this could lead to future energy harvesting, such as, we may actually be able to figure out how to get the unlimited power that we want by harvesting the energy from these black holes, even if we have to artificially create it?
We could. I mean, I thought that we might actually try to harvest the core of a star or some kind of stuff like that. I mean, if we're actually going to do real space travel, we're going to need a massive energy source. I mean, it's nice to speculate and theorize about, okay, we'll use solar cells or we'll use nuclear engines and stuff like that, or maybe we'll create some kind of fusion thing, but in reality, we're still limited. We still have an energy limit, and we must get over that energy limit.
Are you familiar with the tachyon drives?
I mean, I'm familiar with it in the sense of like Star Trek and stuff. I mean, I've seen people talk about it in the past, but
we're actively researching it, and they've actually are very close, or they finally figured out the actual formula. But we are, once the tachyon drive is fully productive, we should be able to go interstellar at that point.
Not to quickly jump off, but apparently the whole ceasefire thing with Iran didn't work out. There was multiple explosions in Israel just now. And
but who's breaking the ceasefire? Is it Israel, or is it the United States, or is it Iran?
I think it's Iran and Israel both together. I mean, what I watched earlier. Now there's been a blockade.
Yeah.
Which now is something interesting that Trump may have actually pulled off. Okay, they created this blockade there. So now all of these oil tankers and stuff are making it across the ocean, and they're coming to the United States. The United States has literally become this massive oil hub. We are making all kinds of money from that.
Really?
Yes, I mean it is wild because I watched the map. Like I mean,
normally through through the strait right there, you see, you know, a few thousand oil tankers leak or more. I don't know. They had a number. It was way up there. But we're saying all of those now have to come to the United States to build.
Well, that might actually fix some stuff that he fucked up. So sounds about right.
So,
At least it might be something that keeps us afloat.
well, I mean, it would be beneficial. I mean, I think, I mean, wouldn't it be something if, this is what he had in his head and it all worked out?
Um,
I mean, think about it. I mean,
I don't think he's that smart.
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying, saying a combination of individuals. You know, when you're president, you have. I mean, that's the reason why you have cabinets and things like that. And you have all these people who surround you. And you got like, what am I supposed to do? Of course, now I kind of question some of the people he picked, but like I said, I don't want to get too political with it. Yeah, I don't know. There's some curious things there, but anyway, let's see if we can shift topic on it again. Okay, you heard about the FEMA guy, right?
Which FEMA guy?
The one that's in charge of FEMA.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Now, when I was doing the test stream, somebody brought it up. He said, you heard about Rome, Georgia? I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, the FEMA guy. I'm like, he said, there's some weird stuff that happens down here. And I'm like, okay. He said, and I started looking at it, and apparently the guy that's in charge of FEMA was teleported to a Waffle House in Rome, Georgia.
Wow.
Said that shit on public TV. I mean, public, whatever. I can't really call it public TV anymore, can I?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
You were talking about the signals. I never got to touch base on that. We used to have TVs. Everything used to be analog. Then they made us go to digital.
Mm-hmm.
And all of our cell signals and stuff and then we had the cell signals. And now they're pushing us toward satellite.
Bandwidth.
Yeah, but I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I've always thought that was weird. I mean, there's still signal there though.
I was working in the oil and gas industry. We were selling 1/3 seconds in gas wells in the Barnett Shale, which is pretty much the whole state of Texas. It's like the second or third largest natural gas reserve in the world. The one in Siberia being number one. And so we were actually having an office conversation about it because they were doing the government program for you got the free digital converter as we were trying to switch everybody. And we were actually talking about why this was happening. It's that with cell phones and everything else like that, it was taking up so much of the open space that is there that the analog was actually starting to interfere with it. And so maybe we've got so much going on with all the data that we're going on that we need to now move it to satellite so that we can free up airspace for the next level of technology.
Have you ever thought about going to work on an oil rig?
Nah, I've been out to a drilling site. I'm an extremist when it comes to doing stuff like that, but no, not my thing.
I mean, I was talking about more for the money. I mean, and you can they hire cooks. Apparently it's like you go out there for 6 months, you get 6 months on, 6 months off, and those boys come home with see, what was it? I don't want to get it wrong because somebody's gonna call me out.
50 to 100 grand or something.
No,
like
it's
that,
a lot more now. Oh, it's got it's let's see. I saw it a while back, and I was like, "Good God, what am I doing here?"
Yeah, we're looking at 200 to 300,000 annually.
Wow.
That's the cook, man. That is the
Now I
cook.
go out there and cook. I've being in the oil and gas industry. I know what that type of job entails, and I'm like, I would probably last about 2 weeks before like something in me gave out.
I mean, I'm sure I'll go batshit, but I mean, 6 months though. I think I could do it. I mean, I could do it 1 year. I know I could do it 1 year. I could do it. I could do it 6 months. 6 months out of a year. Be happy.
You got to be money motivated to do something like that, though.
Oh, I
I'm just not
know.
that money
I know. I
motivated.
know. I thought about it. I mean, I even talked to the old lady. I'm like, can I go out? She's like, nope. Um, I'm serious. I'm serious. I mean, contemplate it. There's another job too. Now you have to be like, you remember me telling you about those Firewatch towers?
Vaguely.
Okay. Well, Firewatch towers are basically out in the middle of the national forest.
Mm-hmm.
You climb up top and you watch for fires. Well, we don't really do that anymore, but they still exist. However, there's places in other countries that will pay you a considerable amount of money to live in a lighthouse for a year.
Oh yes, I've seen the lighthouse video. Yeah, I would do that totally. I would have so much fun. Send me with the QP and endless coffee, and I'll have all the fun in the world.
I don't know. I mean, some of those like there's one in France, and I think they pay you. I think it's 500,000 a year, and the only job you have is to ensure that the generator's running and the battery system's running for the light. That's the only thing you have to do. But the thing is that island, that little rock there, gets hit by so many waves and rough weather and sounds and stuff. It supposedly can drive a person crazy. I actually think they made a like a horror movie about these two individuals that ended up off in the other one.
Huh.
Because they went mad.
Yeah, well, that's if you can't handle solitude. I can handle solitude. I mean, I like solitude. I just, yeah. If I had a choice between doing an oil rig or doing a lighthouse, I'd do a lighthouse both hands down, and I'd probably enjoy the shit out of it.
And there's also those jobs where they're paying people good money. I think it's $100,000. I mean, you're out in that general area. Windmills. They have to pay somebody once a week to go to climb up to the top of a windmill, check and make sure everything's running fine, and climb back down.
Oh, sounds like fun.
Oh, it's not.
Well, I'm just thinking, hey, after walking the AT and walking like 6 hours of my day straight uphill and maybe like 90 minutes of my day downhill, I mean, climbing a ladder wouldn't be that difficult for me.
Oh no, they got an elevator. It's in there.
Oh, well, hell.
Yeah.
That's even better. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing something like that.
I can see the information on it. I mean, I got it. I mean, I have the application thing and everything else, and I even got a video of one of the guys that work there. He shows him doing his job and stuff, and he explains why they have so many so many hard problems keeping people there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do something like that until probably like the 1st of August because of my other commitments.
Oh, I mean, this was just something to speculate on, dude. You always need to have a backup plan.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that though. I mean, it would be fun as shit. 6 months on, 6 months off, or even something to where I'm working 3-4 days a week and I got 3-4 days a week off. I mean, hell, that works. Yeah, I mean that would be definitely fun to think about something like that. I mean, if they're gonna pay you stupid money, I'd be interested at a bare minimum.
Oh yeah, it's good money, real good money. And like I said, there's it always got work to do out there. And I mean, you're not just confined to them things. You can go over to, there's a lot of freaking windmills. But jumping back on the FEMA guy, but yeah, there was actually witnesses that swear they saw him vanish, and there's witnesses that, well, now the Waffle House is questionable because what I looked into, that they said the people at the Waffle House said they never saw the guy, but there's actually people that swear they saw him vanish, and he swears that he was teleported to the Waffle House in his car. I don't know, and it happened twice. I think you said.
Huh. Remember when I was on trail right before I hit Chattanooga, I actually went to the hospital there in Rome, Georgia. That's right there off the Pinhoti.
Uh huh.
So I didn't really explore Rome, Georgia, but I don't know. I just when you said that, I'm like, oh, I've been there.
Yeah, yeah. There's actually there's supposed to be a part of interstate. If you take a right, you enter this weird town, and it's supposed to be some kind of supernatural thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole story about it. I mean, it's a weird place. But anyway, this guy apparently lives down there, and he was telling me about it, and then I started looking into it, and it's where I kind of ended up with that, and I started going down the road with. Apparently, there's been, which is funny. Apparently, there's been a whole bunch of Bigfoot spikes in Ohio.
Really?
Yes, I mean we're not talking a few. We're talking thousands of reports here.
What like how confirmed are these? Because I mean, the human vision sometimes because we don't see as well as we think we do, we tend to make things up.
Well, I mean, if it was one or two people, I would agree with you. But we're talking, you know, multiple people seeing multiple things they think are Bigfoot at a time. I mean, and we're not talking just one person. We're talking, multiple people seeing a creature that looks like Bigfoot in the woods.
Like how far off were they from it? How easily visible did they catch it in the shadow?
They, some of the reports are pretty close. I mean, this was, if there is a case for Bigfoot now, there is a high probability. Well, which is weird because this is the. Remember, I told you this is a weird year. This is some of the best cases for Bigfoot there is now.
Yeah, but legend has it Bigfoot stinks. You're supposed to be able to smell them.
Well, I'm sure he does. I mean, even we, my town and my town close to me, believe it or not, there has been Bigfoot sightings. Not recently. I mean, it seems like here in this part of Virginia, our WalMarts, in North Carolina, Virginia, are close together. It seems like when Walmart decided to buy the land, they bought land that had forestry on both sides. And this was two places. The place below me was built the same way, and the one up here was built the same way. And these were places where people had seen stuff like, back in, the 1800s. And, everyone always joked it off and everything else. But, well, I say within the past 10 years, people have claimed they have seen stuff out there. Out of friggin' Walmart, man.
Oh, it could have been a hobo in a bush.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, there's a homeless population down there. I mean, actually, I was checking on them not long ago. there was I have this. I went over I think the first of the month. I went over to Walmart, and where my son got sick there, and he couldn't walk and everything. We started using the bus a lot, and well, the bus drivers, they know us real good, and one of the bus drivers, she's an elderly lady. She brought over this girl, and she was homeless. And I didn't know this, but apparently the local woman's shelter closed down.
Wow.
Yeah, which is real bad in Gay Lakes, because we had a problem before. I'm not going to say on stream, but it was real bad. You can imagine it involved. It involved people doing things. And all of that was cleared up and been cleared up. And so basically now the homeless women either have to take their chances in the woods with the men, or they have to find places to camp and stuff. Anyway, she was looking for a place to camp or stay or whatever. And where I live at, I have property on both sides. But I couldn't let her stay up here because she would have been trampled by the deer or eaten by a bear. She'd never been homeless before. And I did try to help her, though. I just I knew she would get hurt down here. Anyway, let's shift off those conversations. It seems to get worse and worse and worse and weirder and weirder and weirder. You believe in Loch Ness?
I'm sorry?
Do you believe in Loch Ness?
There's actually a Google photo of it. It is one of the last leftover dinosaurs. There's a Google photo of it in the English Channel.
Yeah. And now there's some new video.
Oh, nice.
And you can't see it. I can send it to you later, but it's actually some of the most compelling video now that we have. That's what I'm saying. This is a weird year. It shows the Loch Ness, and she or he or whatever it is moving extremely fast, darting across the loch. Wow. Let's see. I think we'll talk about the timeline shifts and quantum weirdness next. Did you see the Trump AI Jesus post?
Oh God, that's disgraceful. And then he punked out on it. Oh no, I was being a doctor. What the? Yeah, dude. Seriously?
Yeah, and it all ties into the whole apocalyptic antichrist type thing that everybody's been going on. And I'm not saying that he's bad, no worse than any others. And I'm just saying, I think everybody deserves their due on both sides of the coin.
I will say this. When I had my business, I loved Trump. I thought he was great, except for I hated him blowing up my phone with his tweets in the middle of the night. But past that, it's good. But it seems like the second time around, you ever seen the movie Madness of King George?
Oh, yeah.
My buddy, my former business partner that I was telling you about last night, he's had a couple of meetings with Mr. Trump. And he's kind of explained what he's really like, and I'm like, wow, that's not what you see publicly.
Well,
I think he's going mad. I think he finally snapped.
He might. And it may not be that way, and maybe it's just that individual. Or maybe it's just that day. There's individuals that truly despise him, that have gone over there and had dinner with him, and he's just a cool dude. I think being a president is really hard. You look at Bush. Bush goes in
gets elected, and how you base this. If you don't believe me, go back and look at pictures. Look at the presidents before and after, all of them, every single one of them. And we'll start with Reagan and Bush. When Reagan went into office, when Bush went into office, they had lovely, shiny black hair. When they come out of office, it was gray.
You sure it's not just aging?
No, it is stress. It is what that job does to you.
I could see that.
I
I mean, you
mean,
got the weight of the world on you.
I mean, you look at Bill Clinton. You look at Obama. Go and look at Obama's before and after. I mean, when I saw Obama, when we talking about the whole alien thing, when I watched that thing, I watched Obama, and I watched the part of the documentary thing they were trying to do, or some other kind of thing they were trying to do. I'm not sure exactly what it was. But I'm watching him, looking at him, and I'm like, he don't look anything like he used to. I mean,
He actually looks unhealthy.
He does. And I mean, there's I mean, I've noticed that about other presidents and everything else. And when we have the next live stream, remind me to tell you about a friend of mine that sent a postcard to Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's really important. He put a Bible scripture on this postcard, and he sent it to Bush when he was elected.
Mm-hmm.
And strangely, the White House sent this individual a gold card that could be used to get into the White House and to go to the dinners. They sent him gold medals. They sent him all manner of things, tickets, things to get on Air Force One, just because he sent a Bible scripture, a special Bible. We'll go into that when we get in there. But the only thing I can figure out, it had to have been some kind of code, like the back in the day, like Skull and Bone and other things. They used to use the most common thing that you would find in hotels would be the Shriner's Bible.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's the thing you're gonna find in any hotel. You go to a hotel right now. Next time you go to a hotel, pull out the drawer. You see that Bible in there. Turn the page. It's gonna say Shriner on it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Provided by the Shriners. It's in every single one of them, and it's the most common book across America. Now, the reason why it is the most common book across America is because if you have the same book at the same places, at any place you could go to, then it would be easy for you to decode special messages and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a key and you need a code book. For a very long time, people were using that Bible, and probably still are, as a code book. And I mean, I can show you how to use that code book. I mean, it's wild. I mean, you can see it.
That would be fascinating.
Yeah, we'll go into that. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever done it before online, but yeah, it's wild. And like I said, the Shriner Bible is like I said, one of the books you will find anywhere. I mean, you can, if you have a code that you needed to code, from somebody, and they know, you send it to somebody else, this is where you would go. I mean, you could go. I mean, I could send you part of the code. I might be in Virginia, and you might be in California, and you can go walk in a hotel in California and grab the book. You ain't gotta worry about it. You have the answer right there. That being said, we see. Now,
I really want to stay away from the politics and political people, but I have to briefly mention our Vice President, J.D. Vance. Now, because this goes back to two things he said. He said that he was actively looking into the UFO thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is what plays into the whole disclosure thing and everything else, and Trump and everything else. Mm-hmm. Now, he was asked on one of those shows, what he thought aliens were, and what he thought it was. And he flatly said that him and people in the government believe that demons, that ET is demons. And that the Tic Tacs and things like that is biblical end times technology manipulation. That's what he said. He said on what he has saw since he has been vice president, from my understanding of how he explained it and how other people explained it to me, this is what he thinks those things are. He thinks aliens are demons. Well, and if aliens are demons, then where's the angels? And you got to ask that question, but they don't. And that the UFOs and the Tic Tacs and stuff like that is technology. I mean, I don't understand what they call it technology. They say biblical end times tech.
Yeah, but where does it say it in the Bible of tech like that?
It don't. I mean, all I'm saying is this is coming from our vice president.
Oh boy.
So I mean, it don't say it in the Bible, but he's saying that. That's what I'm trying to say. He is saying that those things are. He is saying that ETs are demons, and he is saying that the things we are seeing in the sky are biblical end times technology. Now, when you use the word technology or tech, you're referring to something that is not biological. You're referring to something that is made. Something that has bolts and man-made or made. Something that is tech. Something. If I tell you I'm going to send you some tech, regardless of what it is, how strange it is, I'm sure at some point you would be able to figure out how to use it. So, using the word technology or tech, tells me that, this is something that we can interact with. Do you follow?
Yeah.
And I'm still working on that. And they're really and that it still bothers me. And like I said, I really didn't want to like on this first podcast go into a lot of political stuff, and I know it's kind of hard to stick out of, and I want anyone in the chat and anyone that may pop up. We are not trying to offend anyone. We're just curious minds here, and we really want to question everything. And I know there's a lot of people that feel very positive toward our current president, and there's a lot of people that don't. But I think as a society, we all need to talk about it, and that being said, we will eventually talk about it. But I don't want y'all to think that we're trying to offend anybody or any subset or group or whatever. No, this is for everybody. As most as we can be, Now the other thing, we have been on. How long have we been on?
Over 2 hours.
I'm sorry.
No, we're good, man. I'm still wide awake.
Good, good.
Yeah.
We're
Conversations like this stimulate my brain. Like once we get off, it'll probably take me like an hour just to like get my brain to settle down. You make me think. Ugh.
okay. Now let's see. Yeah, I think we'll go there, and I'll let you talk about what you think about it, and I'll run to the bathroom again. I drank about a pot of coffee in preparation for this podcast. Um,
I avoided coffee.
like I said, I don't know, for some reason my now I'll go into this. Uh, a couple of years ago, I was helping a friend with his mowing down at his house, and I was running the weed eater like a crazy madman, and he had a bunch of poison oak, and I got myself covered in that stuff, and I got hits and scars all over my arms. I mean, it looks wild, but it seems like every summer my arms start itching. I don't know what causes it, but it feels like it's connected with that. Like maybe, I don't know. But I've asked the doctors, and the doctors think I'm crazy when it comes to that. But I mean, they do. They itch all the time, and in the summertime,
You got bit by mosquitoes?
nah. Well, I mean, I have in the past. It might be, but like I said, this has been going on for a couple of years, and it didn't start until I got the hit with the poison oak. I actually think the poison oak, like where all the scarring and stuff is on my forearms, I think that done some nerve damage or shit. I mean, the poison oak done a horrible job. Plus, I got a bunch of leech bites on my arms. I'll talk about that one day. There's a lot of nerve damage on my arms. But I think it's from that. Anyway, today I took a Benadryl and a pain pill, and the Benadryl always just kind of like knocks me down, but I think I took them too close, and so I had to like boost myself back up with the coffee. And I used to drink a whole lot of coffee anyway a day, and I tried to cut back, and I have been trying to cut back, and it's just real hard to do. I don't know. I love my coffee, dude. I really do. I can't have.
Oh, me too.
I can't have energy drinks. Energy drinks makes my chest hurt, but I used to love them, but I love coffee. I got in my kitchen. I got a double boiler, professional, like you find in a restaurant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we have a professional espresso machine, and then I bought the old lady one of those ninjas. If you ever well, you ever get in a place, get you one of those because they're crazy. They're cool. Make a great cup of coffee, or you can make an espresso.
There's nothing like a good cup of coffee.
Mm-mm.
I lost my coffee cup the first hotel room I stayed in when we were just getting outside of Kansas City, and I had all my measurements so right to where I knew how to make a perfect cup of coffee every time. Now that I got this new cup, oh man, I still can't get a good cup of coffee. It sucks so bad.
When I have a chance, I will go over there, and get you one. There is like one of these stores that has like surplus stuff and things like that didn't sell great at some point. And anyway, they when I was in there last, they had this mug, and it gave you the ability to grind your coffee and perk your coffee in the mug, and it was battery powered. And I think if I was in your situation and I wanted a good cup of coffee, that's how I do it.
If you know how to mix, I just use the Folgers instant coffee. I know, if in San Francisco, I brought Folgers in, and I was told if I ever brought that back, I'd be fired. But I was raised. I was raised on Folgers, so
Oh, I mean,
that's kind of like my
there's
palate.
nothing wrong with Folgers. Have you had the I got to run to the bathroom, but have you had the Folgers 18, was it 50, 18,
Hmm.
1849? It's the cowboy coffee.
No, I generally like because I'm dollar storing it, and dollar generaling it, and so I usually either buy me the Folgers instant coffee like the can and just put it into a Ziploc,
Well, I
or
actually
I
drink
just
that
buy
7
little
Up one.
packets. Huh? But speaking about the itching, I have the same problem with itching, with my back and with all the mosquito bites I got. I think that yeah, there is some sort of like memory or something like that for your body that you still keep remembering it. So
I saw that thing where you were talking about. You want
which
to,
thing?
well, on one of your videos, you were talking about where you wanted to do a, like, go into various towns and, pick a restaurant to eat or,
Oh, the hobo food critic.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think you said something about you were talking about doing a video where, you only eat from, what was it, Family Dollar store or something?
Oh, yes. So, are you familiar with disabled and prepping?
I'm not familiar. Well, I mean, I've heard about them or saw them in past, or when you talk to them, or
Yeah, well,
I seen them. But there's another guy that I saw, and what he does, he's this older guy, and he makes MREs from the dollar store. Now he's got his drinks, drink mix, he's got his food, and he puts together these calorie rich um, MREs, and he does it on the cheap. He does it real good, and if I can find the video, I'm going to send it to you because uh, you know you might want to look into it. I mean, it seems like it would be beneficial. But I mean, you've been eating out of there for a while, so I mean, you should know what's good and what's not. But
I'm pretty picky of an eater too, so I'm very. I would probably do something like that, but yeah, the dollar store challenge is because I'm doing some budget food things, showing people how to be able to have calorie rich and stuff like that, like what you're talking about. But yeah, that's why I was gonna go through dollar store because I usually like when most people don't know you can actually use food stamps to and buy food off of Amazon and get it
oh
shipped to
yeah,
you.
yeah,
And
and you should.
and people and another thing is people hear me going Mountain House, $10 a shot, no way, dude. I'm paying $4.50 because I get the number 10 cans. Yeah, you get 10 meals out of it, and you're paying about $42 for it, but that's 10 meals. And but the thing is that they're not really they're meant for somebody who's static. They're not really that great for somebody who's on the move because you need to eat at least 8 to 900 calories per meal, and at
Have
least
you
another
thought about
500 in snacks.
ordering those like you're talking about the cans, but have you thought about ordering the survival buckets, like the 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 5 gallon survival buckets? Because that would be, I think it's like 50 or 60 bucks, and I mean,
I know what you're talking about.
but Jesus, that would
I
be enough food for you to eat off of for almost a month.
I've looked into it, and yes, so my Patriot supply was
Well,
the first ever I ever bought, and so I bought for like $15. I bought like a bean and rice bucket, and I bought myself one of those 7-day supply. The thing is like the oatmeal and stuff like that they give you. Most of that like I can't keep it down. It irritates my stomach.
now
Um,
there's another company. I don't know if it's My Patriot Supply or another one, but I actually can. I mean, now anyone that's listening, I'm not sponsored by My Patriot Supply. He's not sponsored by My Patriot Supply, and I'm not going to mention the name of the other company unless you guys want to know it. But there is one out there that does provide freeze dried foods and stuff like that, and they will give you a line of credit now, and they'll send it to you, and you can make payments to them, and that could be kind of beneficial if you need to, and you're in a kind of spot. You know what I'm saying?
I think they're the thing about the freeze dried meals is that they're convenient and they're easy and it doesn't require any thought or anything else like that. I have found that if you just piecemeal your stuff together and because you know what you like to eat, you know what you won't eat, and so on and so forth. If you piecemeal it together, you can actually have a better diet for about the same or less cost. But the thing is, and these are non-perishables because being out here, I can't have anything. Bread is not going to last more than a day or two with me, stuff like that. So you got to go with non-perishables, and there are ways to be able to get that done, and I found that I've actually get more calories doing it that way than going through that stuff because they're only giving you maybe 400 to 600 calories per meal.
Well, I thought there was some more calorie-rich ones. Now, I mean, my son, he's autistic, and we have to. He eats very, very strange, and we have to accommodate him. Supply his food differently and make sure he gets all the vitamins and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why when he did get sick, that he wasn't getting enough. His vitamins got ripped out of his body. He wasn't able to walk. He's gotten better now, but he was in a real bad shape there about a year ago. But that being said, you need to make sure you get your vitamins in you. And there, I remember seeing some calorie-rich like bars, and if I'm not mistaken, there is, and I think you can get them with food stamps too. There's this gigantic bottle of these. They look like I don't want to say pills, but they almost remind me of like those flats.
They're meals in a pill, kind of like with the astronauts. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, kind of. But
Yeah, I've seen those.
but they're in your situation, being on the road, trail and stuff like that, and easy to pack. I mean, I think well, hell, I would use them. I mean, if I knew about them things they didn't have them back then, but far memory, if I ever do go into on the AP or anywhere again, I mean, I will be taking something like that again.
Have you tried them though?
I have not tried them, but I have spoken to people who have, because we were trying to find something that he might like, and apparently they were very good.
Huh.
Yeah, you should.
I saw them. I almost bought some, but I was like, no, that just seems too good to. That's just not right. There's something wrong there. That's just not.
No, not if it's the right ones. You get ready to buy them, show them to me. I'll make sure they're the right. They're the right. The ones that I was shown. And I mean, we actually spoke to a medical nutritionist. When this was. We were working on this, and luckily he didn't. He really didn't need them.
Well,
But
that's good.
let's see, what was it? Oh yeah, this was something else that I wanted to go over. The FAA is recruiting gamers to fix America's air traffic controller crisis, and they're offering $155,000 a year to do it.
Why gamers?
Maybe it's the new consoles, but the gamers they are advertising to. Have you ever played Roblox?
No, I'm not a Roblox guy.
Okay, who plays the majority of Roblox?
Young kids.
Right, young kids and predators.
Okay.
Okay. They tried to fix the predator thing, but it's still a problem. It's going to be a problem with all that stuff. But they are advertising to people who play Roblox, they literally have like digital. They have an air traffic controller system simulator set up in there for people, and trying to hire people within the Roblox thing, which makes absolutely no sense to me. None
Mhm.
whatsoever. Absolutely none.
Well, hold on. They've been using Call of Duty to for the drone operators and stuff.
Yeah,
So
but that's Call of Duty. I mean, that's the kind of stuff me and you would play. That's or you
but
know, people, teenagers, and
yeah, Roblox is about organization, isn't it?
I watched my son play it, and I mean, it's about everything. I mean, there's now everyone don't get mad at me, but there's one world. There's like a bunch of different worlds you can go to. One of the ones he likes is where uh, he can like experience a tornado. He can hear the weather sounds, and like you can go in a house and you can go in a bunker and shit like that. But there's other worlds. I mean, how everything from like running a McDonald's to being ICE and going after illegal aliens.
Wow. So it's kind of like Sims.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I was never a sim, but yeah, that requires organization, structure, stuff like that. Yeah, that would make sense why they would go after them, just for the same reason you need drone pilots that have good reflexes in their eyes, can move around and fix on targets quicker. So that makes sense why they would do that.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, it just seems like the Roblox though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you watch the game though, and you watch people play it, and you see how they play these things, and especially this generation, how they play games, do you really want them controlling airplanes?
Yeah, especially when they've had a bad day and they're like, "Fuck it, I want to see what a crash looks like."
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm going after here. And
Eh.
there's a lot of people I mean, this generation literally thinks they can die and respawn. I
Eh.
mean, that is. I mean, when you the majority of people like. I mean, this was proven fact. I mean, the majority of the kids don't know how to do cursive. They don't, but they can't read past a fifth grade level, and when they're in high school. Um,
Wow, and I thought I had it bad.
yeah, and when you hand them, there's been like there might be a kid that has been around a device all his life and everything else, and you hand them a piece of paper, and if you watch them, you'll notice that they try to use their fingers to like scroll up the paper.
Fuck.
Now,
Yeah, have you heard that they're starting to that they're changing out writing for symbols now? And now like yeah, like you write me a paper and nothing but symbols, I'll never understand it, but those guys apparently do. They're starting to teach that now.
but why?
Well, I mean, if everything's cyclical, I mean, at one point in time we used to write in hieroglyphs, and we're just going back to it.
I don't. I'm not. Mm. But if we're doing stuff like that, then that means we're going back for a reason. And if we're going back for reasons, are we going back for reasons that we're probably not going to like?
Well, hold on. At least from what I've heard with telepathy, with your son being autistic, he might actually have some of this. Because my buddy who's autistic, um, he he's told me some experiences. But from what I understand, when you communicate through telepathy, you're actually using like a universal symbol language that like certain just like the hieroglyphs,
Oh
and that's
yeah.
actually like how like when we evolve to a point to where we can do stuff like that, it will be done in symbology. So that might be why we're going that route. It's just because it's probably an unknown part of our evolution as we're moving towards that. Because if these kids aren't communicating, eventually their brainwaves and the collective consciousness will allow them to to start communicating in a different way, because they're stuck in solitude, and so therefore it's their mind, and somebody's going to stumble upon it until it just becomes normal.
Well, they claim that's what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. He was researching when it comes to the children. There's a
Really?
Yeah, he put a lot of money into and interest into autistic children. And this woman, she's got this YouTube. She wrote a book, a bunch of stuff, done some scientific papers.
Yeah, I saw an interview by her. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking
The
about.
telepathy tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein was an integral part of that. Heavily integral part of that.
Mm.
And
Well,
most of the kids in her series and in her movies were on the island, proven.
wow.
Yeah.
But apparently the trafficking thing was a very small part of what he did. But the way that they put it out in the public is like that's all he did.
Mm. Oh, I
Because those
know.
who have
I
really
know.
looked into him,
The Jeffrey Epstein. I want to do a. I mean, I hope you come on for it actually. But
hmm
I'm working on a big thing about it. I mean, everyone else is doing it. They've been doing it. I think they're missing bits and pieces. I want to explore more of the um, some of the supernatural and like the telepathy stuff that he was like looking into. Plus, the fact that he literally funded Bitcoin.
really? Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can keep going with stuff, and I mean, I can back this up. I mean, this is like, I'm not just saying it. It's provable. Um,
I, I I forget who says it, but somebody was. I think it was maybe even Tucker Carlson was calling him that he was more like a power broker than anything. He was a kingmaker.
the kingmaker. Kingmaker's the word. Did you ever? I know that your ability to watch TV is limited, but this is an older show. Did you ever watch a show called Blacklist?
Oh, dude, I love that show. Yes, and there was a guy named Kingmaker on there. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, and that is basically what I identified as Jeffrey Epstein. I would say he was a um, part of a very powerful group, and that was proven. Um, there was evidence that he was part of this massive um, group that controlled various positions and stuff in the world. And I mean, he literally said that you know, it's not the people like the presidents and the foreign ministers and stuff like that. It he said they're just normal people. He said there's normal stupid people. He said the people who really control everything is the ones that pull the strings. I mean, after all this stuff about Jeffrey Epstein kind of like goes down, they're probably going to write books and study this man. And I hate to say this, but whatever broke him, whatever changed him, and whatever, there needs to be some look at. I mean, he was actually looking at mind control VR. He done the funding tree. He was uh, doing some like hardcore sci-fi breeding type stuff. I mean, ranching in Mexico. I got this big thing to go into it. I mean, it would be like a 4 or 5 hour interesting night, just on that man. And it may be a couple of different nights, to be honest with you. Uh, but I'm still trying to get it all together the way I want it. But I mean, I guess I could lean it, but I don't know. But yeah, there's some weird stuff going on there with that. And I don't want to touch on the political part because that's too radioactive right now.
Yeah, you can't. It sucks that people are so polarized.
I know.
I mean, people are. I remember. Oh God, this was what, like 2016, 2017. No, it's 2017. I was working a job temporarily while I was working while I had to rebuild my business, and uh, there was these articles about how there were in Arizona and a lot of the border states that a lot of these border jumpers were coming across, and they were kidnapping families and holding them for ransom and stuff like that. And the article was pointing to the fact that these were, I guess, coyotes that were coming to collect their payment that people never actually ended up paying, and so that was what was causing a lot of it. Is they were, either putting them in a shallow grave, or they were taking them back to where they found them, and stuff like that. And I was talking to a friend about this on a smoke break, and the next lady next to me, she's like, "You're a racist! You're a racist! I'm gonna go and I'm gonna tell the manager, and I'm gonna get you fired." So, and it's like every since that moment, it's like you got to be so careful what you say, because everybody's becoming a Karen nowadays.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Everyone's. I mean, I hate to admit this, but I mean, I even have a few friends that it's like I can watch them, and sometimes they will, do something like that, and it feels concerning. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm just not used to it, but I mean, I've seen them do it before. I've seen other people do it before. But when people act out that way, I mean, it's wild. I mean, it's wild we even have a label for that kind of person right now.
Huh.
I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah, I
mean, they
mean,
make
think about it.
videos about it.
I know. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, there's whole groups of YouTubers that make their. I mean, and other people that make their living posting videos of Karens and Chads or whatever you want to call them. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're in the wrong business. Anyway,
Well,
uh,
nowadays, I think a lot of this, I don't really understand what they mean when they say that with the cough, all of society experienced psychosis, because I don't understand. I've tried looking into it. I just don't understand what psychosis really is. But I've noticed that's kind of when all of this stuff really started to take off, and I'm wondering, we're probably it'll probably be 20 years before we figure out the long-term effects that this actually had on society. But that's really when Karen started coming out.
yeah. Well, I mean, no. I mean, I'm gonna say the Karen started coming out when we started getting HOAs, and that was way before
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, should I wrap it up?
But for them, they were limited. They were confined within, only torturing a small group of people, not the whole damn community.
Um. True. I think we're going to. We're getting close to the finish of this one, but how do you feel about simulation theory and this being all of this weird stuff? Like everything we talked about tonight, everything's been going on.
Simulation.
Do you think that maybe all this stuff is happening because there's some kind of timeline shift?
I think the timeline's always shifting, because This goes back to the debate between free will and predisposition, which I think both of them are wrong. I think it's you got the right of choice and nothing's predetermined because your choice moves the needle one way or another. So, but as far as simulation, I think one of the first times I ever came across Tim Value or whatever his name is, he was interviewing a doctor. I actually tried to get the doctor on my show at one point in time, but he was recovering from an operation. He couldn't do it. But yeah, there's actually a scientist. He calls it the man in the driver's seat. So like there's like this man in here that's pulling a lever, and he talks about it how like we're all grouped together, kind of like social media is. Social media is a representation of this, but yeah, he actually starts hinting at the simulation. And if based upon the other stuff I've read as far as the spiritual stuff goes, I think that it makes perfect sense because um, we're here for a specific purpose to learn and evolve and to experience everything from every angle. And so, in order to do that, you have to have a physical reality to bring the metaphysical into the physical. And so, therefore, to make it a simulation, yes. But I think I don't think it's as complex or as nefarious as people make it sound. Like, because when people start talking about that, they think, oh well, it means that there's no purpose. Well, no, the purpose in life is to experience at that point in time because you're living in your own personal sandbox. And then this is where things like the law of attraction come in and things like that, because the sandbox that we're put in, or the simulation that we're put in, allows us to, if we choose to learn the true rules of the game versus getting caught up in the simulation, then we would actually be able to have a lot more control over our reality and the things in which we have. But he also, the guy was also giving his analysis, and because he started doing this with worms, as he found out that the the people or the ones that survive and thrive are the ones that buy into the simulation and really like don't really pay attention. They're the ones that survive. The ones that start getting doses of reality, or what you call red pilling or whatever, um, they their life became much harder because they were actually able to see it for what it was. And so therefore it kind of pushes them away from the rest of society who wants to live in the illusion. So yeah, I think that it's very possible that there is that's exactly what we're in. And I don't think it's anything bad. It's just helps us understand that we have more control over our environment than we think we do.
Kind of like what a fish might think when you catch it.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't fish anymore. I mean, I used to like to go fishing with my grandpa and everything. And then one day I was out there and I caught one, and I kind of like looked in its eyes and just had that like breakdown. And I wondered, I'm like, okay, well, if we have consciousness, could they have consciousness? Could they have thoughts and feelings? And we normally would catch and release. What were these fish thinking? But one can argue if the fish keeps going back to the hook, then they don't have any care or knowledge of it. But I don't know.
How old were you when you came to this realization?
Oh God, I was like 8, I think.
Okay, yeah. You're still young, curious, and haven't been jaded by society. So yeah, that
Oh,
would
well,
make sense.
yeah, I've been jaded, but yeah, I had a bad childhood, dude. But we was talking about those, you know, uh, telepathy tapes and the autistic people and everything. You know, my son, he does have some weird quirks, quirks, a lot of them. Like when he was 3 years old, like he would barely say anything. And then he seemed to be able to read on a college level. I mean, he could read anything. He still can. I mean, it's wild. He had an obsession with logos. Now, if that don't feel weird, no. If, like being able to read at such a young age. And there's actually a medical term for it. Doctors told me, and I was like, okay. They documented it and everything. But this year, no, it's Christmas last year, and this year. Well, I had bought the kids a keyboard, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and we have a lot of musical instruments here. They collect dust, and I thought, okay, maybe the kids will, one day want to play on them, and no one really showed any interest in it. But well, come Christmas, as Eric asked for it, and he started playing the song that I originally used in my videos, the fringe song. He played it perfect, and he played the equation. He was playing Beethoven. He was playing these other things on logo sounds, and it is crazy. Since then he's had me buy him another keyboard, and he's begging me to somehow will another piano in here. he has no training, no knowledge, no nothing how to do this, but he can do it. He can do it perfect. And he can even make up his own music. So autistic people are weird. Yeah.
I think it's more prevalent in them, but and I've even talked about this on my channel, which is that, let's just say that continuous rebirth or reincarnation is real. And so if that be real, then the experiences and the knowledge and the wisdom that you collect from your previous lifetimes, if you're open to it and you accept it, you will be able to carry that same knowledge or some of those skills in. Because my dad tried to teach me how to make knots. I can't figure it out. But you know what? I can sit there and I make knots. I don't even know how I do it. I don't even understand it. I've never even really studied on how to make knots, but I can make all kinds of different knots without even thinking about it. But you show me and try and get me to do one, I couldn't figure it out. And so that's kind of where I came to the conclusion. I think maybe your son is in the same way. He's remembering his the talents and skills from previous lives, if that be true.
He might be. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. Like I said, I mean, he definitely has that ability. We don't know. And like I said, it's now been documented with doctors and everything.
Wow, so you got a regular old Beethoven and a savant, huh?
It's something. I mean, like I said, and it's definitely interesting. When I like, I had been trying to figure this out, and that's what drove me to originally the telepathy tapes, and then I didn't find out about the Epstein bit until later. But when I was watching the telepathy tapes, there's a part on there, and there's some autistic kids in there questioning, and they have similar issues, similar problems, similar situations, abilities, you want to call them that. And they keep talking about this place they go to when they dream. It's called the Hill.
The what?
The Hill.
Okay.
HILL. And apparently,
Okay.
apparently it's where they meet other autistic kids. And the researcher thought, okay, well, he's just having dreams. But there was this other autistic kid that was there for a convention that was part of this telepathy thing. these two had never met when they were filming this thing. And well, somehow these two kids had to like share the same hotel room. And the kid come in, knew his name, knew everything about it. They already knew each other, and they never met before. And apparently they met on the hill.
Huh.
So it makes me wonder if there isn't some kind of like, what's that word?
Collective consciousness?
Well, maybe collective consciousness, or maybe some kind of what's that? The hollow records that's supposed to be.
Oh yeah, the Akashic records. When you're
Yeah,
talking about the sleeping prophet, I can't remember his name right off the bat, but he's known as the sleeping prophet, Edgar Casey.
yeah. Maybe there's something like. I mean, Edgar Casey. It sounds like Edgar Casey may have been autistic. I mean, you think about it.
Possibly.
I mean, you know, there was some weird stuff going on with him. I mean, that he had a prediction. Now he drew things. And when I was a kid, have you ever read Fate magazine?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's sad for one, and two, I wish you had. But in one of those, and there's a picture I can't find on the internet. I think I have the Fate magazine. I got a whole bunch of them in there. If I ever send you a care package, I'll slide a few in there, old ones.
Okay.
But yeah, you'll get a kick out of them. But he drew a picture that showed this guy in a radiation suit, and New York was behind it. The towers were gone. It looked like the place had been bombed. And this was, you know, back whenever, you know, Casey was alive when he done it.
I'm listening.
This thing is, I think Casey may have been, you know, connected in a little more than a lot of people think.
Yeah. Well, my great uncle used to talk about it. He actually, he since he was in the remote viewing project, I was being a smart ass kid. I was like 15 when I met him, and he starts telling me about how to have my first out of body experience and how you can project and how you can do all that other stuff. Apparently, I did it quicker than I had my first out of body experience quicker than most of anybody that he worked with that like really worked really hard on it. Because he gave me the basics on how to do it. So I could, if you're really good at meditation and you know how to leave your body without freaking out. See, that was my problem is when I was staring down at myself, it freaked me out, and I've never been able to do it since. But I think that if you're okay with the whole out of body and looking down at yourself and feeling that umbilical cord attached to you, you can go anywhere because you're kind of like in that middle area between the metaphysical and the physical, and so you now get to access both. You don't get to interact with the physical, but you can interact with the metaphysical. And I think that maybe Edgar Casey was just really good at meditation and out of body experiences that he was able to access things that you know that were just kind of we look at as off, but natural talents.
I mean, possibly. He's a weird cookie, and we might actually do a special on him because there's a lot to unpack when it comes to Casey, and you need to really explore both sides of it. You need to explore, okay, is he really a prophet, or is he, like what you're saying, or is he a fraud? Because if you put it on a whiteboard, you can say he's either or. I mean, you can argue both ways, and I mean, sadly, you can do that about most people and most things, and but when it comes to things like that, one being, did you watch the video, the orb video I sent you?
The which one?
The orb video I sent you from Bledsoe.
Um, I
If you didn't, it's
may
fine.
have.
It was yesterday, I think.
Did you send it to me? Anything that you sent me last night, I really, I've just kind of been, because I haven't been sleeping. I kind of been checking out a little bit, so I haven't really kept up on much stuff.
Oh, you're fine,
Or,
dude.
or
I'm
whatever.
not, like I said, it wasn't required reading or anything. I mean, it was just that, he was, you know, in the news again, and actually, where you said where you like the Y-Files, I think I want to
Yeah.
send, I want to send you the link to his interview, and then we'll talk about Bledsoe, and we'll go from there. Cause see, I used to think he was a fraud, and I still kind of do, maybe, sorta. But now I think there's something really weird going on there. Something weirder. Yeah, I just want you to
Well,
watch. I just want you to watch the video, him explaining everything, what happened to him, and see what you. I want to see your impression on it. We'll talk about that next time. You get a chance to watch it.
yeah,
Um,
I've done a lot of research. I was very fascinated with Edgar Casey. I've watched a lot of material on him. If you're talking about like he used to see like auras and colors around people, and it would tell them all kinds of stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, that's the now. Bledsoe was seeing like orbs in the sky and stuff. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, Edgar Casey was one of those that was seeing like um you know he could diagnose people,
Yeah.
which was really cool. Um,
I think that most of what we see in the public, like as far as our psychics and stuff like that, at least from what I've read, and it makes perfect sense. Imagine this: you're a psychic, and you walk by somebody, and now all of a sudden you get to see something negative that happens to them. And the thing is you're going to keep seeing it until you get it out. So what do? You go tell the person so that you can relieve yourself of the burden. So why would you ever want to advertise that you have this ability? It's something that you would want to keep to yourself because one, socially, it's some people see it as a threat. Some people will call it witchcraft or whatever. And so therefore, not only you have to worry about the societal pushback, but you also got to realize the personal anguish that knowing the future comes with. And so if there are people out there that are like that, the likelihood that they
Virginians
would want
voted.
to go out and continuously subject themselves to that stuff, I know I wouldn't, and I don't think many people would be willing to do something like that. The military, in order for you to be considered psychic, you only have to have an 80% accuracy rate. Okay. So, if you have anything over that, then, you're just much better, much more talented, which means that you're wrong 20% of the time, as kind of like as a baseline floor. So are they really psychics, or are they just really good at guessing and interpreting things? Therefore, they're seen as psychics because, people, they want attention. They want to feel important. They want to feel like they're above everybody else in some way. Like I've got this special talent that nobody else has,
right.
and so some people will take a gift and then portray it as something it's not. And I think that what we see out in the public as psychics, I think that's most likely what those people are. Very few people, because I mean, even Edgar Casey, it was a burden for him. And if you follow a lot of the stuff that he went through, like it caused him a lot of health issues just to do what he did. And so he just happened to be open. People kept coming to him and he couldn't help but help them. But on average, I bet you if he had to do it again, he would have kept his mouth shut.
I don't know. I don't think he doesn't strike me as that kind of person. You know. But yeah, we'll touch back on that. I just want to drop this in real quick. We'll cover the Bledsoe stuff later. I just saw it. It popped up. This is the basement file number 11. Peter Lavenda, whatever his name is. Anyway, I know him. He's on my friends list on Facebook, and we need to have a conversation about him.
Okay.
So I want you to watch that video, and then we will have a conversation about him tomorrow if you'd like, which would be real good. And I might actually be able to get him on the show at some point. So
That would be kind of cool. Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch it either tonight as I'm winding down, or I'll watch it first thing in the morning, and I'll put it on. But yeah, you can count on me tomorrow if you want me on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind doing it. This is pretty cool, actually. I wish my live streams were this interesting.
Well, I mean, the live streams work better sometimes when you have 2, 3, 4 people. And
my old man and I. Okay, so this is actually what kind of got me going down the path that I'm in. So I long time ago, I started off as a blogger. I used to, 2010, 2011, I was writing blogs on Blogger. And then when they came out with Blog Talk Radio, I went and got an account, and me and my old man, we would do a radio show. And we were talking politics though, but we did really, really, really good. But then, my old man does what he normally does, which is he gets bored and goes, I don't feel like doing this anymore. So I went to go do it solo. I've always noticed that when I'm solo, I always have a much harder time keeping the conversation going than being able to have somebody to bounce it off with. So yeah, that's something that I've gotta work on, either getting me a really good co-host, or something along those lines, because like this type of format is, I think, where I thrive most in.
you do good on it. I think I want to. Would you be able to move tomorrow's stream up an hour?
To what, 9 o'clock?
No, back.
Oh, to 7 o'clock?
Yeah, 7.
That would be much better for me.
Okay. I want to see. Like I said, it's been a while. I need to try to find the sweet spot in time, and
Well, the earliest I could go with you would be 6, because my live stream, I usually do it. I start it between right somewhere around 4, between 4 and 4:30, and we could go as late as 6.
okay. See, I'm gonna try to start doing like one early in the morning. That just covers like basic news and things like that, and some other stuff. And then I want to do like this one at night.
Yeah, this is more like an Art Bell show.
Oh yeah. That's the idea. And like I said, I like having you on, and like I got some other people, that within the community and other communities that I hope to bring on. They have shown interest in doing so, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. Working the bugs out, getting stuff set up, getting people knowing that, hey, I'm back. And usually the community's real good. They start talking and they start passing, notes and words and stuff like that. There's a whole subset where people know each other, and then, yeah. I mean, they start looking forward to it. There's another one here. I think that we should talk before I got it on my screen. I'm sharing it right now. This goes back on the AI thing. Did you hear where their AI is like taking over priest jobs?
Oh, you want to talk? You want to go that? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you familiar that Silicon Valley is they've already coined a religion, and I do not be surprised in the future if a lot of people start worshiping AI as a god.
Oh yeah. I know. I mean that's that's kind of like part of this topic. But what brought me around to it was, originally we were talking about AI, but an article just popped up. It says, "Can AI replace priests?" And apparently, in Japan's temples and shrines, they're putting friggin' AI in there, dude.
I've heard. I think even at the Dome of the Rock, they're doing that.
Well,
Because Islam's doing it too.
I'm not sure, but I mean, it does sound like a possibility. I know they have started experimenting with it in both Protestant and some. I think there's like one Catholic church that is doing it. I think. But now that is something I am strictly against. I mean, because religion seems to, it persuades people, it converts people, it pushes people into a certain direction. Just like school. When you don't want your kids, you want your kids learning, basic Common Core stuff. You don't want them learning something that has been, tricked and manipulated, to try to get them to think a certain way. And that's what's pissed off a lot of people about our school system now. But we'll cover that another day. Because it is a whole can of worms, man, when it comes to the school system.
I think it's easily understood though, because I mean we're all probably familiar with it. I mean, the History Channel did a lot of stuff on this about the island that we would drop supplies on, and we'd use as a landing strip as we were going into Japan. And then when we were done when the war was over, they built a replica of the plane, and they built a whole religion around it.
Oh yeah.
And that shows the creativity of human beings. And so unfortunately it's inevitable that they're going to build a religion around AI, and a lot of people are going to subject themselves, because when you have a choice to either dance in the rain or feel no pain, people would prefer to feel no pain. And that includes having something that's going to make you feel good about, hey, as long as I do good, I'm going to go to the good place. It gives them motive and incentive because they get to feel no pain.
I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I just think it's a horrible, bad thing when it comes to that.
I think once we as humans realize that most of the power that we put out to be outside of us is actually within us, and I think that that's really what religion tries to teach, but doesn't get the message across correctly, is that we need to stop looking without and stop handing over our agency to an outside source, because that outside source is not responsible, nor does it suffer the consequences of what we have to go through. But yet we still act against our own self-interest because it's easier to feel no pain.
Right.
So, but all right, man. Well, hey, it's getting
It is
close to midnight. We've been going for a while. I'm surprised I lasted this long. Usually, I don't talk to. The most conversation a person will get out of me is maybe 30 to 45 minutes.
We have been on for 3 hours and 33 minutes.
Yeah, we've been going, and yeah, I need to get myself some sleep, and I think that we've done well tonight. So thank you for having me on as a guest.
I will see you tomorrow.
All right. When do you? I'll just reach out to you once I get into camp, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, I want to close the podcast, or whatever you want to call this. with my normal saying, and I'd like to thank everybody who stuck around and everyone who will listen to it. I said, I had a lot of bad stuff go on in my life. I've been trying to come back. I've been trying to create a new format. And, like I said, this is still, we're still going through the birth processes. We're still going through, what we need to. And I promise there will be stories and a whole lot of streaming. And I hope you enjoyed tonight. I had fun. I actually got to do something that I wanted to do for a long time and got it out here. But like always, stay paranoid, my friends. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, I'm offline.
Need something? Hold on. I'm going the other way.
Oh.
I saved that one you gave me yesterday. It was in my glasses case.
What now?
Good night. You get your super chest at all?
I wasn't going for. We're not. Yeah, you gotta let me get there, y'all.
No, I meant yesterday when you came back to get me welcome back super chest. That's what I was asking.
Oh yeah, okay. So like I said, I got to get everything set up. I need to start streaming for 3.5, 4 hours a day.
Okay.
I mean, this, y'all want this